Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. It is Tuesday. We are counting down the days to Christmas. What are we, a week and a day out, I guess?
Yes.
Big time 17th.
The panic has started.
Oh, dude.
Uh-oh. Still got to find a handful of things for a few family members. That's the panic.
I took your advice yesterday on the... I probably shouldn't say it out loud.
Yeah, but we're good on our wives. Yeah, we feel good.
I took your advice on that. That is a done deal. I'll tell you off air, Rhino, what it is, or Los can tell you because it's maybe something you'd be interested in.
It's a sweater.
Yes. Never mind.
That's right.
Take it all back.
You're going to love it.
Sweater.
All right. Right. You're going to love it, Tug Wife. You're getting the sweater.
Your face is priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my stuff taken care of.
Oh, you already have? Okay.
Yeah,
You don't need it. All right.
Yeah, Amazon is one of the best things that could ever happen at Christmas.
Amen. It is. Gosh, dude. Amazon is...
It's clutch.
Bezos, what everything about is fine. I don't have any affinity toward him, but his creation... By golly, I am a fan of.
It is great. I had like 100 things in my cart that I was going, like that I was like,
you're
hey,
not the only
let's
one,
figure
man.
this out.
Everybody does that. You just queue it up, and you're like, and then sometimes it'll even flash up. Do you want to save this for later?
Right.
Like, are you still sitting on this?
I had to go through it because I looked at, cart total was $8,712.
You're like, not today.
Yeah. Let me go delete 90% of this out.
Save for later.
Let's get to that $37 mark.
Oh, that's so great. But all my as of yesterday, it's not all been delivered, but as of yesterday, it's all done. There was one thing though that I had to go in. I had in my cart, and I was just about to hit, buy now, and I happened to glance down, and one of the three things that I was buying, it said it wouldn't be delivered till January 2nd. And I was like, well, wait a minute, that's not going to work. So you had to back out of there. You had to.
I've tried to use this to my advantage. I've told the wife, you're getting a handful of gifts. One of them, because we're going to be traveling to Texas, I go, one of them you'll get when we get back.
Oh, okay.
Which sounds really enticing.
Yeah, no,
but
it's great.
It's because it won't be here.
Yeah, right. But I like the way that sounds.
Sweatpants off.
That's right.
That's right. So the one it said, January 2nd, so I had to go back in and find something similar, so it made it on time.
Here's the off-brand.
Yes, thank you. Well, it's rare that I'm going to buy the on-brand.
Right.
It's funny. I don't know about y'all, but for me, dude, I'm buying everything off-brand. I love everything on sale. Like if I'm going to buy me a shirt.
Told you about them Wanglers.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Rustlers. That's what they were back in the day at Walmart.
I'm learning.
Yeah, that's what we would get when I was a kid.
Carlos grew up with class. He had regulars.
No, I remember those times when you're like, hey, I just want a really nice pair of Levi's. And then you go, what are these?
Yeah.
The old meme, what are those? I'm like, Mom, what'd you buy here?
Those aren't Levi's. Those are Levises.
Yeah.
What is a Levis?
I think I had the Sears, Rough Riders, I think they were called.
Yes, I remember those too.
Yeah, they were nice and cheap.
Absolutely, dude. I'll take any of it. But that's the thing. When I buy for me, it's going to be Rustlers. It's going to be TJ Maxx. It's going to be Marshalls. It's going to be Burlington, whatever it is.
Whatever.
Any of those, if I'm buying something for me, that's where I'm going. But if the opposite, if I'm buying for my wife or my son, I want to get them the nicest and best. And
of course,
I don't know that I succeed in that, but I guess we'll see what the reaction is Christmas morning.
Yeah.
However, that is certainly the goal.
See their reaction.
They're like,
that'll judge everything from there.
Seriously, oh damn!
I know we're doing our stuff in Texas, and so that's part of it. Is that we're trying to figure out because in recent years, you send something, it shows up wrapped, and they open it, and you find out several days or hours later, hey, thanks, appreciate it. when you got to do it in front of somebody, you got to give it a little more thought.
Yeah, you do. No,
absolutely.
And that sucks.
That does.
I've been having the fun part of, because when Amazon comes to the house, it's usually for an errand. I don't order things a lot.
Yeah.
So my job lately has been when they get there and they drop it on the porch, I run and grab it and go hide it somewhere so she doesn't see it.
Oh, I said
Like
that.
a squirrel.
Yeah.
I got it. It's got to go.
Tucking it
My
down.
daughters are doing the same thing, though.
Yeah, it's fun.
And Laura, I told last night, my wife Laura, I told her, I said, hey, I've ordered a couple things, don't rush out, because I was trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Now, usually I'm home before her, so I'm usually the one that picks up the boxes on the
That gives you a
porch.
good excuse to not do anything. Like, I didn't want to ruin anything, so I just
No.
laid here on the couch.
That's right. I didn't get up for anything.
Yeah, even the dishes. Like, I didn't want to take a chance doing the dishes, nothing, because I could see stuff.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up dishes last night, because my son is 20, and he pitches in around the house once in a while, if you give him hard enough time. But I'm starting to see a little maturity in him. Last night, last night, got home. We had to pop out for a second, not too long. He was there and came home. The dishwasher was unloaded.
Whoa.
Done.
Okay.
The dishes put away. Well, I didn't do it. I asked Laura, I was like, did you put the dishes away?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I thought you did. And I was like, nope. And I was like, Jacob, did you put the dishes away? He was like, yeah.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. That's your gift.
That's right. Yeah. No, he was like, I was like, oh, cool, thank you. And try not to make a big deal out of it, but
Trying to make that quarter increase on that little bit of money he's allowed to have in college.
Yeah, right. I guess so.
I was putting the dishes away.
But Dad, I did the dishes.
I mean, come on. No, but let me tell you, when your kids do something
Yeah.
on their own, that's, because it don't happen or it hasn't, over the years, hadn't happened all that much. So for it to happen was surprising and appreciated. I wanted to bring something up too. I saw this kind of blowing up on social media last night, where people were talking about Trump changing and keeping us either on standard time or daylight saving time, right? And I don't think many people know what standard time versus daylight. I don't think they know what the switch is when we make the switch.
Correct.
I feel like, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like people want to stay on daylight saving time so you have more light in the evening. That's what I feel like. And Joey Jones was tweeting about it, and I saw where Senator Britt, permanent daylight savings is what America wants, which is why I'm a proud co-sponsor of Senator Marco Rubio's Sunshine Protection. With Trump back in the White House, we're going to get brighter for his support. Costly time change, certainly one reason why. That's my understanding, but I've seen so many people on the other, just arguing, stop changing the clocks. We want to stay on standard time. Get rid of daylight saving. I'm like, no. I think you got this wrong. I think you want to stay on daylight saving so you have the light in the evening.
I've been so confused with this too. I thought we were supposed to stay on standard would give us more light.
No.
But then I'm like reading it. I'm like, but I always thought it was staying on daylight was more light. And then I was like, yeah, okay. I'm with you now.
So
daylight. I just want more day.
Yes, right.
That's all I want.
Which is daylight saving.
I don't care what you call it.
And is that not the goal?
Right, yes.
Is that not the goal when it comes to the history of this? Just give me a little more daylight.
Yes. Which is
tiny bit more.
Everybody seemingly wants. But that's not what everybody is saying, which is why I brought it up. Because I think most people are like you, Rhino. They're just like, I want more light. I don't care what you call it. I'm confused. And, dude, I've been confused about it for a long time, too. I don't know why it's so confusing, but it is. Yeah, we want to spring forward. We want to stay sprung forward.
Yes.
That's what we would like if we can figure that out.
Can you dumb it down for us and take a poll? You want more sun, yes or no?
Check yes.
That's it.
Do you like heat? Check yes or no.
Warmth of the day. Check
Do
yes
you
or no.
not want to fall asleep like it's midnight at 6:30 anymore?
It has been weird because, I think I hit 6:30 last night, and I take the dog out, do the whole thing, and I'm looking around, I'm like, should I go lay down?
Yes.
It's like I'm planning on trying to watch Little Monday Night Football to watch the Falcons, and at 6:30 in the evening, I'm like, should I go lay down? It seems like it's dark.
We did the same thing. I didn't make it. I ended up seeing maybe a little bit of the first quarter. I think like 8:30 to 8:45 is what I saw.
Yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I saw the one touchdown Kurt threw, so that's all I needed.
They
on
won.
his phone.
That was a brutal football game if you watched it.
Raheem Morris.
bad.
It's
Jacob,
gone soon.
he doesn't. My son doesn't cuss in front of his mama a whole lot.
Oh,
He let a couple fly.
yeah.
After he yelled for meatloaf.
Yeah, meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
We were playing rummy and 500 rummy, and he had the game on his phone, and you have to nudge him, be like, dude, it's your turn.
Yeah.
keep
Come
up,
on, dude.
keep up, pay attention, and
Yeah, do the dishes, bro.
yeah, thank you, do those too, and so there'd be that time he was like, damn it,
Yeah.
like almost like Clark Griswold.
Yeah.
It was, but it was funny because he doesn't cuss in front of his mom a lot, but the Falcons make him cuss.
I didn't get to stay to watch the game, but if I did, I would have rooted for Desmond Ridder to throw a touchdown at the end just to blow that for the Falcons because it was that bad of a game. Again, Kirk Cousins, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 112 yards against a 2-11 team that can't find their identity at all. That's a problem.
That's where I got to. I got to the point when it was out of hand. The Falcons are in charge. You then have Vegas score. And then by the time they're trying to get the ball back, I'm going, let's just see what they do. And they got a couple Hail Mary throws to the end zone. But there was a part of me that was, you are not supposed to be entertaining that team in that football game. And they did. They did it for the entirety of the game.
Bad news.
It was a long flight out there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's no excuse for this team.
No, there isn't.
There's so much talent. I mean,
And
I'm
money spent, too.
You look at that. You look at everybody there. You got Michael Penix Jr. sitting on the bench,
Just rotting on the
just
vine.
rotting away over there. But you also have Kyle Pitts, who, I mean, this kid's an athlete. This kid's a beast, and they don't know how to use him. You've got Drake London, who is playing really well for being stuck there. It's just so bad.
He's like on an island by himself. He's just stuck.
And Bijan Robinson
writing help and coconuts.
Carlos was the first one to bring attention to Bijan Robinson when he was showing me film of him before he got drafted.
Stud.
And that kid is a stud. And it's just such a shame that this team has so many paper tigers.
My friend Rob is in Waleska, and he wants to talk to us about daylight saving time. What's up, Rob? What's
Thank
on your
God,
mind?
someone smart.
I know.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The thing is on this changing the times is it works out for us because all this construction traffic that you see in the mornings at the quick trips at 6 o'clock and more stuff, we get to the jobs and we have to have daylight to work.
Yeah.
And right now it's usually around 7 o'clock. In the summertime it gets back to 6:30, but then you have time problems as far as you're not supposed to crank equipment up before 7 o'clock on most of the counties around here. And so that if you push that back to like 8 o'clock when it's daylight enough to see the work, all our construction traffic going to the jobs around Atlanta will be hung up with the school traffic and the common traffic. We're ahead of it, every day. I do not worry about traffic in the mornings.
Yeah, so you're in favor
worked
of
out
staying, Rob, you're in favor of staying on standard time then. That's your pitch.
Keep swapping them. That way our daylight stays around 7 every morning. If you don't swap it, your daylight's not going to come till like 8 o'clock, and then that throws us getting to the jobs in the middle of the regular morning traffic, which we beat every day now.
Okay, all right. So,
And it's wise call.
Well, right. Rob is definitely, because if you recall, it was all put into place whenever they started doing this for farmers.
Yeah.
That was the reason behind
Well, when
it.
you only have oxen and plows and you don't have lights the way we do now, it's understandable why they want absolutely more light during the day in the summers to grow and make food available for the rest of us. So that's why I love the daylight savings.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it in these terms. So you have made these switches for farmers, and I get that. But we are now at a point where it feels so outdated that all it does is it feels like a little bit of an inconvenience for me. And that's really the only thing I'm concerned about. Again, I told you, 6:30 last night, I'm like, I need a nap. I think I need to go to bed. It's 6:30.
That's all it's about. For most people, my thing is I want to stay on the boat longer. That's it. I just want to be on the boat longer.
Absolutely.
So it's very selfish.
Because during the summer, it's 8:30. Like you don't have to run lights until 8 o'clock in the evening by 6:30 right now.
Yeah.
You can't see anything.
But there's that. I do have a soft spot for Rob, man. I see where he's coming from too. So man, I'll let them decide. And I ain't gonna say.
Yeah.
But if I get my druthers, I'd rather have it light in the evening. That's just me. Yeah,
me too.
If we're,
I don't want to be falling asleep at 5:45 tonight. thinking it's 12.
It doesn't matter if it's winter or summer. We are getting into work at about the same time anyway, no matter what, it's dark. So all I'm looking for is give me the hours on the other end.
Yeah, no, I think I do think that's what most people want.
Yeah, traffic doesn't bother us at 4:30.
Nope, it does not. Trump says Biden knows what's up with the drones, and I believe that he is correct in that. Here's what he said.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth. They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Yeah, so
it's literally is that Bedminster is in New Jersey, almost the center of all these drone sightings.
Yeah, so I believe him when he says they know. There's no doubt in my mind that that's the case. The only thing that I would push back on is when he said if they were enemy, they would blast it down. We let a Chinese spy balloon, several, fly all across the map. Didn't bother to shoot them down once, so I don't know if we'd shoot them down or not. Now, if he were in office, maybe so.
Right, yeah. If Donald Trump was in office, we might have some transparency. But yeah, with Biden and the spy balloons, they didn't let us know until they got caught. Let's be honest.
Well,
it was like, hey,
the public was the one who called to
Hey,
attention.
there's a giant balloon up there.
It's got Chinese writing on it. It's got, I swear it.
I don't know what it says. It says something, though.
It's a weather balloon.
It's like the people over like the Midwest were going, hell is that? We didn't deal with it until it was outside of South Carolina.
I agree with what he's saying in point. Like, if it was somebody foreign that we weren't expecting or it was something else, then yeah, we'd probably say something. That leads me to believe that this is more of a protection, a defense of some kind. They're afraid of something happening in the Northeast there and in those areas. That's what it seems like.
Well,
to
the
me.
river is the dirty bomb, right? That's and radioactive material.
Yeah, radioactive material.
And dude,
being turned loose.
I know at our ports and airports they have those, devices. I don't know what they're called, but they scan for, radioactivity. They do that. But when 10 million people roll in, just any way, shape, form, and fashion, anywhere they want to, you don't know what they got. How do you know?
Right.
So I'm not saying that's what it is. But I understand why people would be concerned.
Yeah, even Chuck Schumer was concerned, and then he launches and says, hey, we need to have the Department of Homeland Security start a 360-degree radar system that we can figure out what these things are. They've sent other drones up to see what they are and take pictures. They've gotten pictures. Some of them are planes, some of them are drones. So they're starting to let a little bit more out, but I think it's us. I mean, more than anything else, I think they're trying to keep people calm.
I'm right there with you, and I think that, and this hurts me. Because I was hoping for the aliens,
I know.
But it's not.
It's coming. It'll be eventually.
Yeah, it'll be down the road.
We'll get there.
But still, it does look like it's us and doing our thing.
It's like Christmas. You got to be patient. You got to wait on.
I just got to wait.
It's like Christmas.
Can't tell me about ET yet.
Got Chinese writing on the side, Rhino said.
Could be Kal-El. He came in a little ball.
That's true. English
Kal-El.
and everything. Superman.
Oh, yeah, it's him.
Yeah, that's his Hebrew name.
Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's his Hebrew
y'all
name.
can't talk code to me like that, yeah?
My bad.
Yeah.
It's Kal-El.
Well, you
Kal-El
said his
is
name's
his
Clark
Hebrew
Kent,
name.
I thought, or Superman. Use either one of those. I don't know about that
No,
other.
not from Krypton.
Oh, my.
How many Clark Kents are on Krypton? Don't be ridiculous, Doug.
Clearly none. Goodness gracious. All right, when we come back, the hashtag resistance is lacking in enthusiasm against Donald Trump. Next on Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here.
Somebody in New Jersey needs to go outside their freaking house with a shotgun or a 30-06 and shoot one of the damn things out of the air.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Man, I am looking at this Christmas guide, a prepper's Christmas guide. How cool. This sale that they're having over at True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway has been running since December 13th and will run all the way through the 31st this year. They've got a great selection of things that you could start somebody in your life out right away. What if you just want to keep in contact with them and you need a Bofang dual band radio plus long antenna? Right now, only $23.99 at True Prep in Marietta. They got tons of things. You can go to their website and find it out, but now's the time. Give the gift of preparedness this season, something that people can actually use. Do that with a gift card from True Prep, and for every $50 you spend right now at True Prep, you'll get a $5 added bonus as well. If you want, they even have some great things you could just go in there and buy today. What if you needed a water filtration system with the filter already in right now? They got the Alexa Pure, one of the best on the market for only $169.99. That's over $70 off of that alone. You got to go check out all the deals. Like I said, you can see them right there on their website. You can also sign your loved one up for some of their great workshops at trueprep.com. That's TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turfco to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turfco was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turfco to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlantis Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth if they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there, napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlanta Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kemmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
For the purpose of this commercial, we'll refer to erectile dysfunction as Ed. This is the story of Ed. No one likes Ed. Ed can be a real problem, a real downer. Ed can come between you and your partner. And if you let Ed go unchecked, Ed'll continue to destroy your hanky-panky plans. Ed has taken over your life. On date night, all you can think about is Ed. When you roll over in bed for the morning smooch, there's Ed. And when you're cooking a romantic dinner for your wife, there's Ed in an apron. So how do you get rid of Ed? Kick him to the curb with Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They're Ed experts. They understand what causes Ed to be Ed, and they know how to get Ed going in the right direction. He'll learn to stand on his own with proven all-natural therapies that don't require surgery or downtime. So if you've had enough of Ed, take matters into your own hands. Call Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911. Learn more online at tbtofga.com.
Senior Lecturer of Biochemistry positions offered by Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. Contribute effectively to undergraduate teaching, researching, mentoring, and advising within the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. Teach beginning and intermediate level general and organic chemistry laboratory courses and advanced chemistry courses in pharmacology or natural products. Assist in curriculum development and service learning. Apply with resume to faculty jobs at spelman.edu. Reference job ID 6869002.
The end of the year is closing in, and with it, another tax year comes to an end. As you prepare to file your taxes, consider the efficiency of your tax strategy. Have you maximized your IRA and Roth contributions? Do you have an RMD strategy in place? Are you making moves now to maximize your future tax-free income? Not only is the year-end fast approaching, but the 2017 tax cuts sunset at the end of 2025, placing many Americans in a higher tax bracket. Don't just report your taxes, plan for them. Contact Master Plan Retirement Consultants now to create a retirement plan specifically designed for you. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation where we can illustrate your retirement outlook and create a plan together for your future. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, December 17th. Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt has agreed to pay $43,000 in penalties for violating campaign finance laws. The State Ethics Committee says that Sheriff Labatt failed to identify all the businesses his wife owned and committed other campaign finance violations. Labatt reportedly failed to disclose $149,000 in expenditures to Alliance Business Management Group, a company organized by his wife, as well as $72,000 of Zelle transfers to his wife from his campaign account. Additionally, he did not disclose his wife's ownership interests in business entities or his position as an officer in the nonprofit Think Twice, Save a Life. The sheriff blamed the violations on not having a professional campaign staff, treasurer, or legal counsel, describing the mistakes as unintentional. The Atlanta Police Department is seeking the public's help in identifying a person of interest in the stabbing death of a 54-year-old man near Trinity Avenue in Atlanta. Police say the attack was unprovoked and occurred while the victim was sleeping. Surveillance video released by authorities show the male suspect walking in the area around the time of the stabbing. Police urge anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons ended their losing streak with a lackluster 15-9 win over the Las Vegas Raiders last night. Kirk Cousins threw for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception in the win. Jesse Bates III intercepted former Falcons QB Desmond Ridder in the end zone to secure the game. The Falcons are now 7-7 on the season and in second place behind the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 106.3.
The resistance to Donald Trump is lacking enthusiasm this time around. The resistance, as they call it, hashtag resistance. You see it on social media, see it on Twitter or X nowadays. But it seems to be falling so flat. And there are some Democrats who are doing some soul searching because it's taken them, y'all, 10 years to figure out that hating Trump is not an actual platform. There's a Democrat commentator by the name of Max Burns. You may have heard of him before. He said, quote, "In that transformation, we seem to have become unclear about what our actual pro-Democrat message is." And to him, I would respond, yes, you're right. And your policies need to be good. And you need to have people to explain them. And they have neither. They don't have either of those things. They don't have a bench. They don't have anybody that can explain their point of view. And then when they do, you realize that their point of view is very off base. It's not in a line with most Americans.
Yeah, they don't really have a platform. They don't have anything they run on. If anybody could call me and tell me what they ran on besides we hate Trump, we don't like Trump, Trump's Hitler, Trump's this, Trump's that, Trump's this. They didn't give you anything that they were running on except for free handout. It was almost very high school-like election. Like, hey, we're going to put soda machines in instead of water fountains. Those kind of weird lies. They didn't give anybody a reason to vote for them.
Think about what happened in 2020. You had the craziness, the fervor that was COVID. You couple that with then, here you have all of this racial strife, this tension. Oh my God, look at what's going on in Minneapolis. And so then you have paid for protests to then create this fervor, this energy where you went, wow, we need to change as this country. And then obviously the mail-in ballots and everything else. But those three elements created this energy that was bought and paid for.
Manufactured, yeah.
Well, what do they have now? And that's the issue, because you can try, and once again, the billionaire money can start kicking in, the Soros money, but they have to have something that'll create some sort of platonic shift. And there's nothing right now until we have the mass deportations.
But they went through 10 years of it, the manufacturing worked for 10 years, right? It lasted. But it couldn't last forever because it is so manufactured. And finally, the American people, I don't know, say woke up, but they started realizing, wait, everything I'm being told is wrong. Yeah. They told me that I couldn't go out my house like in COVID. I couldn't go to church. I could go out my house. I couldn't go to the beach, whatever it is. I couldn't go out for a run or exercise. But those cats that burned down Minneapolis, they were just fine. Like, the things they were saying made no sense. Mm-hmm. So when when you use that, finally the wheels came off the bus, and that's where they find themselves now.
Well, yeah. Also, when it's coupled with real life problems or kitchen table issues for every American family, everything else emotionally falls to the side, and you start thinking about, hold on one second, how do I take care of me? How do I take care of my family? How do I afford gas? How do I afford food? Well, they're telling you the food prices aren't that high. Why do you continue to tell me this? Now I'm going to look into everything else you're telling me and realize this is stupid. I need money. I need to have a good job. I need to be able to afford the things that I should be able to afford, like gas and food.
How do you blow through $2 billion? Well, the Kamala Harris campaign showed you how that happens, and part of that was spending on crowds. They were bringing people in and incentivizing that. That does exist where I need a crowd. I need 30 people. All right, here's what I do. Here's how I get them to show up. Guys, today I need y'all to wear pink hats. Tomorrow, let's do the rainbow hats. Later, I want y'all to be Antifa. That's part of it. But you have to then create enough of energy. There has to be something that gets Joe Virgin River to show up. Because the paid-for people are going to be there. It's more of how do you get the Joes of the world who go, you know what, I kind of back that, and I guess they're meeting up. Okay, I want to go join that because it feels like a movement that might be talking to me. That's what they're lacking. They don't have that unifying issue. The button paid for, they'll get them whenever they need to. But what gets Joe off the couch? And there's nothing right now that will.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj isn't going to take him off the couch and make him go, yep, this is what I'm voting for.
Like, what's going to get him to show up to a street protest? Nothing right now.
Nothing right now, except for, it'd have to be something very, very, like something that affects a lot of people that he feels strongly about. It's not going to be a 1% idea that, hey, trans women should be allowed in men's bathroom or our girls' bathrooms. That's not going to work. He's not one of those 1%ers. He's looking for something, and it may be social. It could be social, but
I bet it is.
In reality, it's not going to work.
But think about Mitt Romney. When you had BLM that were creating all these marches and eventually in the evening burning parts of America down, Mitt Romney thought to himself, the noble thing for me to do is walk with these people. No, it wasn't, Mitt. Because if you knew what their background was, you wouldn't have an interest in it. It's communist. So what is that noble cause that gets guys like Joe, that gets guys like Tug to say, you know what, I'm going to go support that, or I'm going to listen. There's nothing right now. That's why I'm saying the money is sitting on the sidelines. Everyone is sitting on the sidelines until the mass deportation started. And that's why the media is laying low. They're waiting for that moment when the first time they can show something on television that gets people riled up.
Yeah, they are preparing like nothing before because they already know what's coming, right? So now it's sit back. Okay, let's devise our plan. How do we get the message out? How do all the networks have the same thing? The Democrats are sitting back and preparing for this moment. Don't fall for it. That's the thing. You know what you voted for. You know what's best for America. Do not fall into the trap of listening to these people because they want to mislead you. They want to misguide you, and they will, given the opportunity.
Yeah, no one's going to call you and say, hey, Tug, you want to come out and defund the police and light their equipment on fire with us?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
I'll skip that one.
I'll pass. Thank you.
But in the interest of George Floyd, there were regular Americans that went, I'm going to go walk with these people and show my support because they didn't know enough about the organization.
Had no idea.
And they didn't know enough about the scenario about this man was a drug addict who OD'd on the street. And we turned him into a guy worthy of statues. And I'll always go back to it, you couldn't bury your grandma, but they could have 4 funerals for George Floyd.
Right.
Going back to the things that make no sense. You can't go to the gym. You can't go to the beach. You can't go to church.
But think about the mentality of what we had going on that made sense to people. Well, of course, because we could get everybody sick and they could all die. But George Floyd, that's an icon. We got to respect this.
Yeah. You want to go light our neighborhood on fire, Tug?
No, thank you.
But there's no energy. You're right. There's that fervor that causes Joe Virgin River and other people that are not bought and paid for. What causes them to show up and give their support, there is nothing right now that makes that part of the left get active.
Let's talk about other criminals because there's plenty of them in the Democrat Party. Look at the Republican Party, too. I'm not trying to pretend that's not the case.
Yep.
But when you look at all the pardons that have been doled out so far, the most, I think, is Biden's the most of any president. Am I right about that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm reading it. So
in one day.
In one day.
The one-day pardon was the most in
1,500 or whatever.
The 8,000 that were for minor marijuana possessions and arrests ended up pushing him to 9,600.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. It's unbelievable. But do y'all remember Adam Kinzinger?
Oh, God,
when
yes.
back in 2022.
You're still around, Adam?
Yeah.
Oh.
This was 2022 when he had this to say about pardons.
The only reason I know to ask for a pardon is because you think you've committed a crime. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Do you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back. Only reason you would want a pardon is if you've done something wrong. So, using Adam's own logic against him, Hunter Biden probably broke the law. I think everybody understands that. Everybody's on board with that. Mm-hmm. But now, the anticipated pardons that are coming. Liz Cheney, what did Liz do?
What's she do wrong?
Hillary Clinton.
Adam Kinzinger.
Yeah, Adam himself. Adam Schiff.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton's, he's been advocating for Hillary a pardon. Well, what did Hillary do? Oh, well, she
It's not because of what they did, Tug. It's because there's a dictator named Hitler who has taken control and will go after anyone, whether they're right or wrong.
But we've already established that that's not the case, right? We've already established he's not Hitler. He's not a dictator. He's not. Well, the American people have.
Didn't resonate.
The American people has said, no, he's not. I'm going to vote for him. And yet you do have Democrats out there, right, to your point, that are still saying it. But, I mean, it's fallen on deaf ears.
Like, there's a tired playbook, and they've yet to add pages to it. You know, the playbook is still, well, Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, dictator. Listen, it didn't work during the summer, and it didn't work into November. What's going to be your next playbook? What are you going to try that's going to be the next thing? Are you going to tell me he's been a convicted 34-time felon? He was never sentenced. Didn't work. He's a rapist. You owe $15 million. You know, it's like, wait, which one are you going to use?
Adam, Liz, and all the preemptive pardons are to cover up crimes. Adam Kinzinger is absolutely right, including his, and including the idea that he joined the J6 committee and falsified information and gave misinformation out because he's one of those establishment Republicans who just hates Trump. But the fact is this, they are trying to cover it up because when they do get exposed and when files are released saying this is what they did, this is how it happened, here are the emails, here's this, they'll go, no, this is political persecution. They're going to play the game. They're going to continue down the fact that we're not lying to you, he is. That's the game they want to continue to play to cover up their crimes.
Patrick Bet David has a great tweet that says, the media lies, politicians lie, but numbers never lie. Top 5 presidents with the most pardons. Number 1, Biden. Number 2, FDR. Number 3, Woodrow Wilson. Number 4, Truman. Number 5, Obama. Guess what letter they have following their names?
They all got D's. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you use history as your guide, as your rule book, this shouldn't be surprising at all that Biden is doing it. But at the same time, it should open many Americans' eyes to the fact that there's a lot of corruption there that y'all have put up with, and many of you voted for a really long time.
The reason why that the pardon power was put into the Constitution is you had the belief by the Founding Fathers that you were going to have one of the best among us who was going to be president, and whether that person was just or unjust, there would be a point where their decision had to be in either the interest of mercy or in the interest of politics, as far as if you had a civil war, then you want to make some pardons so that you can heal the country. You can't tell me that 9,600 pardons are in the interest of mercy or in healing the country.
Especially, Rhino, when you look at some of the reasons that these people were incarcerated to begin with or needed some sort of clemency or a pardon. I mean, it grosses me out to say it, but I will. One was child pornography.
Yeah.
Others are putting kids in jail for small charges and making millions of dollars on the backside for it.
The cancer doctor one is still one of the shockers of bilking insurance companies and by giving people less chemo, yet treating them and saying this is how much they got.
Yeah, there's a lot of sick pardons that go out there and friends, and you know what? This is part of the game that they all play, Republican and Democrat alike. This is something that, look, the 8,000 pardons for low-level marijuana crimes, keeping them in jail for those things that are now legal. I get that. That's fine. But it's the other ones with things attached to it. It's not just marijuana, but also this kind of human trafficking and those ideas. That's where the scary pardons come off. But it's the ones that Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, all the preemptive ones when it comes to Ukraine, his brother, Jill, Hillary and all them begging for it, it really does beg the question, what did you do wrong then? Or we know what you did wrong. Now you're just kind of admitting it in a way to us that, yeah, you were stealing classified information. You had an entire laptop, Hillary, full of stuff. Hunter, you had a laptop full of stuff too, and we're going to investigate it. You're preemptively now going through and saying, hey, let's go back to 2014?
Tell me you're guilty without saying you're guilty. Adam Kinzinger. Just thinking. Just me pondering.
I do wonder when those next round of pardons, like maybe as we get to like January 18th, 19th, right out the door, it's going to be
19.
They're going to take icons of the Democrat Party, the Anthony Fauci's of the world, and be like, here, you're good. But even though you lied to Congress.
It is going to be in the twilight of the 19th, right? At like 11:59.
They'll be waiting for you to have Inauguration Day to be excited about Donald Trump, and then they're going to slide through their last bit of criminals.
Exactly right. Kind of like when they bury bad jobs reports on a Friday at 5 because you're focused on the weekend, looking forward to the weekend. You know how it goes. You've been there. You've seen it. We've seen it all. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los. Trump to the other world leaders. Yes, you will take your illegals back. Next on the Morning Extra.
Paul has a message for everyone. To everybody I offended this year, work on yourself so I don't have to do it again next year.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I don't know about you, but kind of like daylight saving time, or I guess it would be standard time. Yeah, standard time. I'm ready to kick it to the curb. We are, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4 days away from winter actually starting, and I'm ready to kick it to the curb. Thankfully, my family and I have central heating and air conditioning. We're in a warm house while it's cold outside. You know, warm and comfort reign supreme in our home. That's the promise of central heating and air conditioning, and for a limited time, you can save up to $2,000 in rebates and on qualifying Carrier systems. That's right, $2,000 back in your pocket. Don't settle for cold when you can have warmth inside your home with a brand new Carrier system. It's about comfort, yes. I mean, everybody wants to be comfortable. I guess that's the most important thing, but your pocketbook this time of year, probably pretty important to you as well. You don't want to overspend because you're spending, I think I read here in Atlanta, the average person will spend $1,000 per on Christmas. I mean, a whole lot of money. So, you pair that with the savings of central heating and air conditioning, and you're on your way to doing things the right way.
I was spending $6,000 a month on heat, but now I'm not.
Wow, Los.
Yeah, a lot better now.
Yeah, good. $6,000 a month.
Maybe $7,000. It's better with central heating and air.
Yes, it is. Look, see, you don't want to be in that position. Nobody wants to be in that position, especially in December. 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. And now the security riddle of the day. When times get tough, where do you keep your stuff? Answer, in a quality safe from the Safe House, of course. Don't go to a big box store and get a fake safe. That would be as effective as Joe Biden's fake border policy. For over 30 years, the Safe House has been providing the best quality safes on the market. Brands like Browning, Fort Knox, and Champion. And with the largest selection of safes on display in Georgia, we're confident we can help you pick the right safe to fit your needs. So drop by our huge showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
We're sharing more love than ever before during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. By the end of this year, Subaru and its retailers like Jennifer and the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett will have donated nearly $320 million to charities like the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels America, and the National Park Foundation. It's the reason why we say Subaru of Gwinnett is more than a car dealer. We always go the extra mile for our community. And during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event, you can drive away in the Subaru model you've had your eye on all year. But now through January 2nd is the only time you can get a new Subaru, and Subaru of Gwinnett will donate $250 to a charitable cause of your choosing. It's just one way that we share the love this holiday season. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com for details and start shopping for the Subaru that your family will love for years to come. Then come by and see us for a test drive and meet our staff. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Subaru of Gwinnett, Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, and online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Hey, Roswell. Looking for the perfect bite this football season? Head on over to Nucky's Hoagie's Roswell Corners, where every sandwich is crafted with love by us.
The Sub Sisters,
Stacy
and Shannon. Whether you're looking to cater a football tailgate party or grabbing lunch to go or dining in, we've got delicious Nucky's menu items for you. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagies, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, with the freshest ingredients that'll make your taste buds dance.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell Corners on Woodstock Road your new favorite sandwich spot.
Holiday shopping has arrived. Still looking for the perfect gift for that special someone? How about a Natural Body gift card for a little pampering? Help the ones you love unwind and relieve stress this holiday season. Give the gift of a custom massage, facial, or body treatments. Pick up a gift card in store or online at naturalbody.com and give the gift of relaxation and rejuvenation. Natural Body Spa and Skin Remedy with locations in Atlanta, Alpharetta, Buckhead, Decatur, Marietta, Morningside, Smyrna, Snellville, and Chattanooga. Or shop online at naturalbody.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Atlanta Braves single game tickets for the 2025 season are now on sale. Get your tickets for some exciting matchups next season, like when the Phillies come to Truist Park during the opening homestand in April, followed by the Dodgers and Padres in May, the New York Yankees in July, and many more. Plus, select ticket packages are also available. So give the gift of Braves baseball this holiday season and surprise your loved ones with Braves tickets. Visit Braves.com/tickets today. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
The Xtra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Xtra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Thank you for being here on Extra 106.3. A couple things happening behind the scenes you may not know about. We're trying to figure out what a vest is for. Like, what purpose does it serve?
It's nice.
Yeah, sure, it is.
But you're missing sleeves.
I don't understand the vest. What is it? Can somebody call me and tell me the point of a vest? Don't say fashion because, okay, I get that. But I'm saying, like, what for usefulness?
Yeah.
Is there a useful? What is the purpose of a vest?
The only thing I can think of is if I'm up in Hiawassee and I'm trying to cut trees with my axe and I need better movement, so I put on my, Under Armour or something underneath.
All right.
And that gives me that movement of my arms and keeps my chest warm. But
range, but dude, if you're out,
I'm just taking my clothes off.
Yeah,
well, not all.
Well, yeah, but right,
cold,
right.
Most
But
of them.
if you're chopping down
sharp
a tree
objects
with an axe, yeah, exactly. That's not what you want to do. But if you're cutting a tree down with an axe, you're going to be warm.
Yeah,
just by
the
nature of doing,
just the body heat that you're going to generate off that work.
Right. Every time I'm outside up there, even though it's 30 degrees, I'm shedding shirts and sweaters, and I'm like, it's too hot. I'm sweating like crazy.
That's correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like your hypothesis is not a bad one necessarily. It's just on the surface. But I don't understand what vests are for.
I don't either.
I don't.
Unless I'm Hulk Hogan, maybe my arms are too big for shirts.
Maybe it could be that.
I don't even need shirts.
That's right.
I'm going to show my arms.
I'm a bad. Donald Trump has told these fools around the world, yes, you will take back your illegal immigrants for the United States of America. We're getting rid of them. We're sending them back to you.
It's not supposed to be amazing that the person who's going to be the leader of the free world stands in front of an audience and does like an hour and 5 minutes yesterday, considering that Joe Biden has done none of this. It's just not how it's going to go. It's the level of access. But I want you to take a listen. When the question is posed to him about the Venezuelan gangs, Donald Trump just decides to tell you, no, this is how it's going to be.
In terms of your mass deportation plans, have you had any preliminary discussions with countries like Venezuela, from where the Tren de Aragua gang is now popping up?
They'll take them back.
They're going to take them back?
They're all taking them back, yep. And if they don't, they'll be met very harshly economically, okay? They'll all take them back. Venezuela and other countries were not behaving very well with us during my administration, and within 24 hours they were behaving very well. They'll all take them back.
We're so back.
I put him over my
all take
knee.
it back.
I gave him the best smack. I love him.
Me too, man.
I don't know. Look, I miss this. I miss this so much. Going from that to a man who would avoid, and a female vice president who would avoid the press as much as possible. And that was their friendly press. He's like, hey, come into my home. Go ahead, ask anything you want. Let's go. However long it takes, we'll go. Instead of, hey, here is the list of people we selected the questions for.
Yeah. Yeah, there's none of that anymore. And I love the swagger that he has when the reporter says, well, and he tries to rebut the fact that Trump said they'll take it back.
Well, are you sure they're going to take it back?
Yes. Yes, I am.
The answer's correct.
Yes.
This will happen.
I did not misspeak.
But this is where in my opinion, we've missed this over 4 years.
Yes, we
because the president of the United States is one of the most high-profile jobs in the world. I mean, it probably is the highest profile job in the entirety of the world. And when you cannot be visible in front of people and answer questions, I'm not saying you have to have regular press conferences where the president gets grilled, but at least get a chance to talk to those people who have elected you that want to know what's going on. In this case, every single question, he's like, yeah, I got it. If I can, I got an answer for you.
And every answer was one that I applaud. Every answer is exactly what I want to hear my president say. I love the fact that the United States of America is going to lead again. Mm-hmm. We have been falling further and further behind. Obama wanted us behind. He was fine with it. Actually, I feel like orchestrated some of it because he didn't want us to be that leader on the global stage. He wanted somebody else to be that. Joe Biden probably fell into that same category as Obama, but he has dementia, so he has no idea what's going on. So the people told him around him, here's what we're going to say, here's what we're going to do, and sometimes he did, and he had no idea what was going on.
Act like you're on board with it, puppet.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But he also understands where Venezuela is and all these countries are. That's the strength versus weakness. Well, we've seen weakness for 4 years. Now we're seeing strength because what he realizes that the other leaders don't want to talk about is Venezuela is pretty economically in trouble. They're, number one, when you start to look at how much debt they're in, $4.2 trillion with a $102 billion GDP. This place is going to fall apart. Their inflation rate is 51%. So any kind of, hey, this is what we're going to do to you economically, they can't withstand anymore. That's the kind of strength. So you're going to take your guys back, and then we're going to figure out what we can do because their main exports, their 3 exports, aren't going to do much for anyone. We don't need their oil. We can get our own oil by drilling. So what are they going to do about it except for take them back and hopefully work with the United States of America?
Well, given the scenario that you put forth, Rhino, I mean, that's the rub of this entire thing. It's that the criminal class in Venezuela went, we're not doing well enough around here. Let's go to the States.
Right.
A lot of people doing all right over there. Let's go get it.
Mm-hmm. And because of these things that are happening and Trump putting his foot down, did you see what happened in Canada yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Freaking Justin Trudeau.
Gonna be fun to watch.
Dude.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Smacking him around. Everybody's pushing Trudeau around. All of a sudden, he's not as tough a guy.
Poor Justine.
Poor Justin. He's not a tough guy. When we continue on Extra 106.3, people from all sides of the political aisle are supporting Trump, and the numbers are huge. Next on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Always a good day when you can say that progressives are outraged or alarmed over something. Right now, it's the fact that Donald Trump's approval ratings are rising. In other words, people like what they are seeing.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
As the year comes to a close, now is the perfect time to evaluate your estate plan to protect your hard-earned assets from the high tax rates. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to help you keep your assets secure for future generations. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid planning, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, we protect what matters most to you. Schedule a free legacy planning meeting today to discover how we can help families just like yours. Don't let the government decide how to spend your money. Contact us at 678-250-9355, 678-250-9355. Or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com. Nelson Elder Care Law, your partner in asset protection.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
You want to get better at shooting without spending money on ammo or taking your valuable time at the range? Get yourself a Mantis X. 94% of shooters improve within 20 minutes of using Mantis X. I'm a good shot, and I improved dramatically in 20 minutes. The Mantis X is an at-home training system that you use with your own gun to do dry fire practice. It's very high-tech, but it's simple to use, and it will give you real-time feedback on your shooting technique. You attach it to your gun, kind of like a weapon light. You download the easy-to-use app, and you follow the instructions. That's it. You can use it at home, dry firing, or at the range with bullets in your gun if you want to spend that money. The U.S. Marines, Army, Special Forces all use Mantis X, and that's part of what makes them the most effective force in the world. I use Mantis X because I'm a gun owner, and I need to be able to hit my target in an emergency. Mantis X. You'll be shocked at how quickly you improve. MantisX.com. That's MantisX.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law. VanSantLaw.com.
Two students remain in critical condition the day after being shot in school. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It happened at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin.
A second grade student called 911 to report a shooting had occurred at school. Don't let that soak in for a minute.
Police Chief Sean Barnes, a teacher and a student, were shot dead during a study hall. 6 others were wounded. The shooter, a 15-year-old girl, killed herself.
We are certainly speaking and talking with the parents who are cooperating.
Still trying to figure out where she got the gun and if writings left behind on social media are from the dead shooter. A Russian general has been killed in Moscow by Ukraine's security service and a bomb hidden in a scooter parked near General Igor Kirillov.
The Russian state news agency TASS says it's been
told the bomb was triggered remotely. Kirilov's death comes a day after Ukraine charged him with using banned chemical weapons during Russia's military operation. The UK, which had placed Kirilov under sanctions, said he was responsible for helping deploy barbaric weapons.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. President-elect Trump has had 2 federal indictments dropped before he returns to the White House, but he's lost an attempt to get convictions thrown out in New York. Here's Fox's Brooke Singman.
Trump spokesman and incoming White House Communications Director Stephen Chung tells me, quote, today's decision by deeply conflicted acting Justice Merchan in the Manhattan DA witch hunt is a direct violation of the Supreme Court's decision on immunity and other longstanding jurisprudence. This lawless case should have never been brought.
But Judge Juan Merchan insists the convictions of falsifying records in 2017 are not official presidential acts. So Trump's not immune from prosecution, all related to payments to keep an alleged affair quiet before the 2016 election. Last night, President-elect Trump sued the Des Moines Register and the Iowa paper's pollster. The lawsuit alleges the poll days before the election showing Vice President Harris with a lead in Iowa was election interference and fraud. Trump won the state. America's listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
I wake up every morning with the Morning Extra.
This may be surprising to some. When you are considering gifts for teachers, I think a few things that are good, probably. Handwritten notes, because I think those are the best gifts to begin with. If I get a card that is handwritten, and there's been one or two, I always keep them. If it's something that came from, I don't know, Hallmark or the dollar store or whatever, I'll read it, and then we'll sit it on the counter for a day or two.
A few days.
And then after Christmas, it goes right in the garbage.
Yeah.
Handwritten notes do not. We keep handwritten notes at our house. And that's what I've encouraged my son Jacob since he was a small child. Handwrite every note you send to someone. Anybody can buy a card. It doesn't matter. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not nice. But when you take the time to handwrite a note, it just means more. People appreciate it because nobody's got time to do anything. Sure. And so taking that time is good, I believe. And so that is one thing. I think if you're going to send the teacher a card, make your kid have your kid handwrite it. Send them, maybe a little gift card in there for some Starbucks or whatever. But I'm reading that it's frowned upon to get the teachers booze.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, just the relationship there. It's. It's just everybody is saying that's what you shouldn't do. I just saw this blow up a little bit on social media yesterday. You can follow us.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Obviously,
don't.
It's not hard.
Booze. Can you imagine?
You know what? I'm not going to give him any cocaine, weed, or booze this year.
Maybe cocaine and weed, that seems a little extreme, but I'm saying maybe even a nice bottle of wine or a nice, I don't know. It's probably it's not like you can just take it to school and deliver it. You got a little kid walking in with their.
That'd be awesome.
Some kids have got bags of.
Got your bottle of Jack,
M&M's,
Mr. Jim,
some cookies from Tiff's Treats or somewhere. They're walking in with a little bag, and they're handing their gifts, and little dirty mouth Johnny walks up with a bottle of Jack Daniels and sits it down on the table. Here you go, ma'am.
Or just a clear mason jar of liquid.
Look, if you can find some good clear. My daddy got his moonshine at Trailer Park. I'm just telling you,
it's made of apples.
If you can find good clear.
If anyone needs alcohol as a present It's teachers, too.
Yes, I
deal with kids all the time.
Yes,
it's
but
just funny that's the one thing you can't get them.
Maybe the gift card instead of like Starbucks or Dunkin' or something is to Total Wine. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe you kind of sidestep it a little bit.
We should make like a gift card. You know how like they make the soda can koozies that make it look like, oh, it's not a beer under there. It's actually Mountain Dew. Maybe you have a gift card one that shows Target, but you peel it off and there it is. Just Total Wine.
Whoever comes up with that gift card will make lots of money.
And you owe me 10%.
And you owe Rhino 10%. Absolutely. But just same things to think about. But I guess, the kids are all out of school now, so it's probably too late to do that. But maybe after the first of the year, if you plan to send them something.
I think a lot of, there come times where, we became friends with some of Liam's teachers throughout time. Like, not like best friends, but see him outside.
Hey,
how are you? And all that. And maybe in that regard, like, hey, you're a neighbor, or you live down the street. I'm going to drop it off at your house, not have my son bring this to school.
Yeah. No,
there you go. Here's your mason jar full of yumminess.
That's what I'm saying. I just think I understand why it's frowned upon. But I think Joe hits the nail on the head. That's probably the people that need it the most.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of kids running around.
There was a teacher who, here in Atlanta, who decided that she was leaving during first period to go grab some food for the kids, and she was hammered and then ended up hitting a car on the way back to the school while the kids were still in homeroom. And then the car followed the teacher into the parking lot, and she decided to hit 3 more cars in the school parking lot, and that didn't end well for her.
Well, kind of a giveaway, huh?
That's why you're not supposed to bring.
So maybe that's why
liquor gifts.
Yeah, no liquor gifts for teachers
for your teachers.
There you go.
No, not for the teachers.
No, I know, but
other people that deal with kids, like coaches, totally cool. Teachers, that's like the only
outside
one.
coaches, like not in school.
Yeah,
coaches.
if you're talking about like club coaches, you can deliver it
exactly
because that's what I said.
Like a bottle of wine is always a nice gesture to any host, but you recognize there's certain times where the alcohol is not appropriate.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you got kids that are, because you weren't in here for the very beginning of this, is one of the things you're not supposed to do is bring bottles of wine, because you got people delivering gift cards and tips, treats, or whatever, and then the one kid brings up and just slams a bottle of Jack on the table.
We're right in that process now of coaches gifts for our coaches, but again, club oriented, so it's different,
and it's adult to adult, not
exactly
bringing 14-year-old kid.
It's like I'm trying to figure out what my
Mason jar Gatorade.
That's right. I love it.
We call this Gatorade at home.
That's right.
I got you a membership to Liquor of the Month Club.
That's the gift that keeps giving. That's what that is.
That sounds a lot better.
That's right. Good news for Donald Trump. And this is not the first time we've seen this, and not the first time we've seen it from CNBC, because it's the polling keeps showing them the same thing. And I don't know how they feel. I'm sure there's people on the network that hate it, and others that are probably just fine with it. But the wins just keep piling up for Donald Trump. CNBC shows in their polling the majority of Americans support Trump and his policy priorities. So most realize he's not a dictator and value his plans to make America great again. 60% support using the military to stop drugs from coming across the border. Makes sense to me. Hard to argue that. The majority also supported cutting individual taxes, increased deportation of undocumented immigrants, reducing the size of government, drilling for more oil on federal lands, cutting taxes and regulations for businesses. All of these things that Donald Trump has said and talked about yesterday, the majority of Americans are in favor of this. That's why there's a little bit of me that believes that's why the resistance is so weak right now. Some people on the Democrat side, at least some, can read the tea leaves. They understand that Americans voted for it and are in support of it.
Well, this is a tired aspect of the opposition. What was it, the number you had? 96% of these people are essentially Democrats that are sitting in these newsrooms. That's the overall number. Correct. That you've constantly hit that to point it out to everybody that, yes, the news is going to be slanted in their favor more than likely. So when 96% are there, yet the polling at a minimum is 55% of the country are endorsing these policies. You realize how foreign that is to these 96% that are like, I don't like any of it. well, you are the tiny minority.
Yeah, you're out of touch with the American people. And that's what the reality is. Democrats were completely out of touch with the American people. Kamala Harris didn't lose because she was a black female. She lost because she gave them no opportunity to discuss any kind of policy or issue, nor did she really lay out any issues that helped the American people. Donald Trump did. So when you lay out the economy and say, how do you feel about this when it comes to the economy? Most common sense people are like, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, this is Trump's idea. And they might go, well, that's a good one. And that's what you're starting to see is that people are going, hey, when it came to the things that I care about, when it's kitchen table issues and inflation, interest rates, I trust Donald Trump more. That's been pretty much the standard since he started running this campaign is I'm going to trust him more with the economy. I'm going to trust him more with foreign policy. And that's the way people are starting to come around now.
I don't know about y'all, but yesterday when he was speaking to the press for over an hour, he brought up one thing that I thought was brilliant, and it shows that common sense is back in vogue because there wasn't this immediate rejection of it. There was the point where Donald Trump was talking to Joe Biden directly and said, hey, man, why don't you stop selling off the border stuff? All these pieces of border wall that we've spent $9,000 per piece on, and Biden is selling them off to some auction company for $1 a piece. Donald Trump just said, hey, why don't you stop doing that? And I think the American people, whether you like Donald Trump or not, it's common sense. You know that the wall is going to be put up. And where's Kamala Harris? Shouldn't she be raising Cain about this 6 weeks ago? She said she's going to build a wall too.
One of the parts of that entire interview process that he was doing yesterday that made a lot of sense was him explaining it's almost like there's somebody at the border who's treating that piece of equipment, that wall, as a commodity, where I'm buying it for pennies on the dollar to sell it back to Donald Trump. And he started talking about it's going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars in order to reacquire this piece. Why would you sell it off for pennies on the dollar just so the American public has to buy it back for, in this case, let's say, you sold it for $5. Now I got to buy it back for $5,000. But
that's the common sense, I think, Rhino, that every American can see, whether you or support Donald Trump or not, kind of like you were saying, it kind of makes sense.
But the media that they watch are not going to throw that out there, and that's part of the problem. But the ones that do, all of a sudden, you're going to start looking. And I think anybody who saw it on Twitter or any of the alternate media outlets that we tend to use now do understand that. And that's why you're seeing numbers from CNBC and these polls that say, hey, we trust him more. It's a ridiculous thought to say, hey, you already paid for this. Biden says, we don't care how much we took from you money-wise and wasted it, allowing all this stuff to just really go bad at the border. Then we're going to sell it and we're going to force you to buy it more. They're trying to sabotage Donald Trump. Their hatred for one man and the ability to bring peace, prosperity to this country is going to do anything they can stop it. Not to help the American people, but try to make him look bad. That's all they're doing. They don't care about the American people or their taxpayer dollars.
I have a hard time thinking that Joe Biden is with it enough, considering his level of dementia, considering that people who have served under his administration expect him to be dead in the next year. Yeah. I have a hard time imagining that his thought process was, why don't we sell the border wall pieces?
Yeah, it's not him.
I was like, somebody within that administration's like, how hard can we make this on the next administration with 30 days to play?
But it's so smart for Trump to point it out and to put Biden on his heels about this. Because, of course, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about it yesterday, and she danced around it and didn't address it really at all.
Gonna miss her.
Yeah, right.
Are you?
Missed the binder. But that's the thing. Trump is going around those media outlets now and going directly to the people because you are the media, as Elon Musk has said, and you can see those interviews, those briefings, those press conferences that Trump does directly. You don't need MSNBC to lie to your CNN or whomever else. You can see it for yourself, and that's the thing. He knows that, and he uses that to his advantage because that's common sense. And he's going to govern, I feel like, in a common sense manner.
Kamala Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, and Joe Biden did everything to avoid talking to the press because they didn't want the press leaking all the things that they were doing because they knew it would make them look bad. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is saying, I welcome all of you, answer the question. I'll answer all your questions. I hope you'll cover this fairly. Here's what's happening. Here's what the American people need to know. Joe Biden wants to waste more of your money. Joe Biden wants to send more of your money out. They're doing everything to make me look bad instead of doing everything to work for the American people like they've lied to you about for so long. Look what they're doing with your money. They're attacking me with your money instead of fixing things for you. And that's why I think he allows the press to come in, whether they're fake or not, to cover him. Now, when they get back to their newsrooms, are they going to write about that? No, they'll skip that part out and try to find something to pick them apart about, but they won't write the facts that the American people need to know. And I hope they are doing the research for themselves. It seems to show that they have been over the last at least 2 years.
People, Los, have been paying attention to politics this past year. They've been dialed in. They've been focused. And that's the reason they voted the way they did.
Yeah, so I'm reading an article in the New Republic that was out yesterday, and it was Michael Thomaskai. And this is a guy who, if you were to go to Amazon and look up his name, you're going to go, how many books about the Clintons can you write? Like, there's one in 2001 that it's like, it's her turn, and it's Hillary Clinton. Okay, like he was advocating for that as soon as you had Bill Clinton basically out of office. He's a sycophant to these people. Well, he ends up writing this article, and it is entirely about how Donald Trump won the election, and he went to this one tried and true trope. He's like, well, people are busy and they weren't paying attention. BS. And here's the reason why. $2 billion worth of spending from Kamala Harris. And yet, with that and 96% of the media on your side, 98% of all stories in the media were anti-Trump when they brought him up. And yet, you won the popular vote, and you also won the Electoral College by nearly 100 votes. People were paying attention. That's the difference.
It's so damning to what mainstream media is.
By the way, marketing works.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's like here's here's what I'm putting out there. It typically works. If I was to spend $2 billion telling everybody Rhino could dunk, within 3 months, everyone would be like, "Did you hear Rhino can dunk?"
Yeah. There'd be a portion, definitely a portion of the
they'd believe it entirely.
Absolutely believe it. Now there's the rest of us that are so skeptical about everything. Like, we're going to take a step, and that's probably the people that were paying attention this year that don't fall for crap like that. That Hillary Clinton, needs her turn, because the last thing she needs is her turn. If there's anything that she doesn't need, it's power.
No, she definitely doesn't need any power. And you know what I love is that the American people, not all of them, we still have the left. When we talk about paying attention to politics, the left will pay attention only to those tyrannical minority ideas that they have, and they'll run with them. But when you saw the black community, the Hispanic community say, hold on one second, I just went through 3.5 years of this problem, that really did get them engaged in politics to figure out why they were paying for more in gas. So they started to investigate and go, wait, why are we not using the energy that we have? Why are we not taking care of America first? Why are we sending $60 billion to Ukraine but won't take care of our farmers here in this country that need aid?
Or the people in Western North Carolina.
Any of them. I think people investigated that, and that's why they're going to start paying attention more. And I think it'll hurt the Democrats.
More people were more engaged this time around, and in part because of what was going on with their wallets and what was going on right in front of their faces. I like to think that when we talked about how involved you should be with your local election and your school boards and everything else, every now and then you get like the random crazy Twitter person that when I go after somebody, they're like, don't you wish you just jealous you don't have as much influence as Jamel Hill? I'm like, yeah, I hope to have record turnout in Georgia, so I did my part.
That's what I want.
What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
You and your little Twitter feed, your little 4 followers. But it's considering the amount of money that was spent, the people that were paying attention, the ones that voted with these numbers. It didn't matter how much propaganda they were fed. They recognized this is BS, and I'm voting for this other person because I believe that they're going to deliver more efficient government.
Dude, it gives you hope.
Yeah, they're paying attention.
But I think, you've been saying it for a long time. When you're fat and happy, it's easy to get distracted.
Always.
When things are not going as well and you recognize it and you see it and you're like, well, what's happening? Why am I not fat and happy like I used to be? I want to get back to where I was. And that changed everybody's perspective. 4 years. What a difference 4 years can make.
I'm just noticing that man has an Indiana hat on right now.
He does. That would be board op Captain Goey Virgin River. His daddy graduated from that fine university.
You get a, what is it, Friday playoff game?
Friday, 8 p.m.
Friday, is that New Year's Eve? Friday?
No.
No, it's
this Friday.
20th.
They play this Friday?
This Friday.
Yeah. I thought all the games were on New Year's.
Dude, playoffs start this Friday.
Let's freaking go.
The second round is on New Year's.
What now?
So Indiana and Georgia will be playing.
That's
on New
okay.
Year's.
Okay. I just got it all backwards.
See. But yeah, no, you got playoffs starting this Friday.
Let's freaking go. That's the best Christmas gift I could ever ask for.
You're welcome.
I want nothing else, so thank you.
There you go.
Wrap it up in a bow. When we continue on Extra 106.3, we'll knock out the headlines. And Trump keeps telling the truth. And some people, well, they just hate the truth. Next on Extra 106.3.
The latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust. Your best new follow on social media is Extra 106.3. We're at XTRA 106.3 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 106.3 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Good morning. It's your true friend, Carlos Medina. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Exmark because, maybe you are looking for, lawn equipment that's like essentially the Joe Virgin River of lawn equipment. Just precise, takes care of his business. That's what you get with Exmark. December, let's face it, it's a time for giving, all right? So why not give the gift of Joe Virgin River, the gift of precision? That is what you get with, let's say, an Exmark mower. These are incredible mowers. They're built to deliver. They're going to give you a perfect cut on a regular basis, and it's going to take the hard work and make it easy. Joe doesn't do that, but still, Exmark can do that for you. The friendly folks at Howard Brothers have Exmark mowers and are ready to serve you while you are gearing up for the new year. It's time to find that perfect Exmark. What do? You go over to Howard Brothers. You say, here's the amount of property I'm taking care of. Here's what I got when it comes to my lawn, and they can point you in the right direction. Again, go to Howard Brothers this holiday season and let them know, here's what I need, and they will get you top-tier lawn equipment from Exmark. Let's make it a Christmas to remember with Exmark and with Howard Brothers.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? That's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth. They're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away.
way, Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlanta Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
There's nothing like being there in person for the holidays. And RBM of Atlanta Mercedes-Benz wants to get you there safely, in comfort and style. Come in now during the Holiday Love Celebration for great offers on the Mercedes-Benz vehicles you've always wanted. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 SUV. Just $509 per month for 36 months with $44.63 due at signing. Exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration sales event. Visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through January 2nd, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, December 17th. Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt has agreed to pay $43,000 in penalties for violating campaign finance laws. The State Ethics Committee says that Sheriff Labatt failed to identify all the businesses his wife owned and committed other campaign finance violations. Labatt reportedly failed to disclose $149,000 in expenditures to Alliance Business Management Group, a company organized by his wife, as well as $72,000 of Zelle transfers to his wife from his campaign account. Additionally, he did not disclose his wife's ownership interests in business entities or his position as an officer in the nonprofit Think Twice, Save a Life. The sheriff blamed the violations on not having a professional campaign staff, treasurer, or legal counsel, describing the mistakes as unintentional. The Atlanta Police Department is seeking the public's help in identifying a person of interest in the stabbing death of a 54-year-old man near Trinity Avenue in Atlanta. Police say the attack was unprovoked and occurred while the victim was sleeping. Surveillance video released by authorities show the male suspect walking in the area around the time of the stabbing. Police urge anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons ended their losing streak with a lackluster 15-9 win over the Las Vegas Raiders last night. Kirk Cousins threw for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception in the win. Jesse Bates III intercepted former Falcons QB Desmond Ridder in the end zone to secure the game. The Falcons are now 7-7 on the season and in second place behind the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 106.3.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Tug, Rhino, and Los. Until 10 here on the Morning Extra, 404-741-1230. Love to hear from you this morning about just all the things that are happening. The fact that Donald Trump's the president and he's not yet the president. I mean, he's making moves and deals and world leaders are coming to him. When's the last time you think a world leader gave old Joe Biden a ring-a-ding on the phone? I bet it's been months and maybe been years. How many times do you think it's happened to Donald Trump already? I bet it's multiple. I bet more than you can count on your hands and toes.
The only one I can think of recently was when Bibi Netanyahu had the scenario of Joe Biden, well, don't do that.
Yeah.
He made a phone call and then did it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, don't go into wherever.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we're doing that.
But that was Biden calling him, though, right?
Yeah, well, that was the contact point.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden was the one who was celebrating it as in I told him.
Yeah.
I told him.
And then it didn't matter.
And went and did exactly what he needed to do, which is beneficial for Israel, beneficial for America, and beneficial for the world.
Yesterday, he's speaking about that he has the respect of leaders all over the world. And
he does.
And he does it. Huh?
Oh, I'm talking about. I thought you meant Trump.
Joe
I'm
Biden
sorry.
does not.
Oh, yeah,
have it.
no, yeah, right. Of course.
And that's where the funniness begins, because he doesn't have the respect. Nobody respects him.
Right.
They walk all over the United States of America and have walked all over Biden, Harris for the entire 4 years they've been in power. They're afraid of Donald Trump for a reason. What you're seeing in Canada, Justin Trudeau is going to be forced in a way to almost step down when your deputy prime minister says, our economy is so bad, we need to work with the United States. This isn't a big deal. We will work on closing our border because we can't lose a lot of 25% of our industry because we can't trade with them and we can't afford these 25%. It's just all falling apart because there is respect. And she understands that, hey, this isn't a bad thing. We can work with America at the same time. We can keep them safe and us safe by just shutting our border down. It's not that silly of a request.
It's always difficult when you're a lame duck. It's just the nature of what happens when you're down to your last 30, 40 days where what you have to say only is going to matter for 30 or 40 days. That's it. So that is why you see the Biden administration essentially printing and spending money and sending it all over the world, because this is their one method of influence that they're basically going to be able to say 4 years from now, hey, you know why you're going to back us? Remember when we gave you that money on the way out? They're doing favors.
But the American people, I feel like, see through that for the first time in a long time.
Oh, we're very upset as a people. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you doing this when you have Western North Carolina that's basically living in squalor?
And yet you want to send billions to other people? Get out of here, man. That doesn't make any sense. But that's the thing I think that Donald
if
Trump...
you're paying debt off.
What's that now?
If you're paying debt or favors off, it sure does make sense to them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you don't know the entirety of the picture,
of course it makes no sense to the American people. And the ones that defend it are even more disgusting.
That 29% of people that still think Joe Biden's the president still think Joe Biden's doing a good job.
Those 29, they'll be more upset that Donald Trump brings peace to that region than they are about them spending money to create a war that is killing innocent Russians and Ukrainians that are involved in these two leaders' spat. That's reality. And they'll be more upset that they caused peace and did it without any money. They'll be more upset about that.
We already talked about the loan that went over to Ukraine. That was the very end of last week. Here's the loan that we're making available. And we're like, wait a minute, we don't have the money to be able to loan. What are you doing? Then yesterday, the Biden administration was talking about a $50 billion basically bonus to big pharma, to medical companies. And you're like, hold on a second. Why are you doing all of this knowing that we are broke, knowing that the interest rate right now on our debt is more than what we spend on our military, and yet the Biden administration on the way out the door continues to promise money and are trying to deliver money?
I called it a temper tantrum yesterday, and I think it's partially that. I think it's partially we're going to do it just because you say don't do it. And then there's the other part that Rhino kind of touched on is the favors and behind the scenes dealing, the corruption that we all voted against. So we got about 30 days left of it. And then hopefully it will be lost to the history of the world and never discussed or brought up again. Because I think that's what Americans right now would like to do, just pretend that Joe Biden and this 4 years never happened because it's been so detrimental. Donald Trump, though, Rhino, keeps telling the truth. And not everybody likes to hear the truth, but he's telling them anyway.
Yeah, President Trump is doing everything he can to really wake people up more than anything else. And when he started talking about vaccines yesterday during his press conference, he was telling the truth about what people felt about vaccines. He talked the truth about, hey, polio worked because polio was an effective vaccine. There are Democrats who are on the other side for years have been bringing studies saying that vaccines cause autism or trying to bring all this, and why not look into it? And he started talking about that. Well, of course, the left, who brought up the whole autism connection, now are saying, this is ridiculous. How can you say vaccines cause autism in our children? That was the question you guys brought to him. So he continues to say, hey, here's what it is. We can't trust all vaccines. We need to do the research. We need to know what we saw with COVID-19, whether you like it or not, was the vaccine was not effective the way a vaccine is supposed to be effective.
Well, we also changed the very narrative, the very definition of vaccines to market a particular product. So everything is under the microscope, in my opinion. And to bring up that everything is under the microscope, how does that then deter you from being somebody who can run HHS? You're looking at every issue of health in this country and saying, what are we not doing right? What are we doing wrong? And by the way, how do we get politics out of this to where, and whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's food companies, whether whoever it is out there, if you notice something that is going wrong, you should be able to get the politics out of it and say, we need to get this product out of the marketplace.
Which is truly following the science.
That would be in the interest of public health.
Yeah. And when it comes to vaccines, you got the ones like polio that got brought up specifically. We know that vaccine works. We know that it is a sterilizing vaccine, and it's not like the flu, it's not like COVID that were therapeutic, and they kinda, mighta, maybe not. There's so many questions about it. When you have rock solid information, then you make good choices. I think everybody, I know at least my mama. I almost got kicked out of kindergarten twice. Yeah. Mama was not having the vaccine thing. No. She's been, I think she may go a little too far. Can I be vulnerable here a little bit? My adopted sister, Whitney, has special needs. And she deals with autism, and there's a few other things in there too. But my mama she will put her hand on the Bible right now and tell you that some of the vaccines caused that autism. She believes it
a lot of people
with everything that is her. I don't know, but that's why I like the RFK thing, because he's like, let's find out.
Well, that's the important part. Okay, so I have my nephew who is non-functioning at this point and is suffering from autism. They believe the same thing. My brother and his wife for a long time thought, hey, let's look into it. That's what they wanted, look into it. That's where the divide comes in this. And people attacking Donald Trump for asking to look into vaccines is almost absolutely ridiculous, because what he's saying is, well, the government shouldn't have any say whatsoever in whether or not you can take it. If you want to take vaccines, you want to throw it in your kid, no one's going to stop you. All we're saying is we want to look into big pharma. We want to look into the ties for these vaccines and what the federal government has been spending on these big pharma companies, these corporations you love to attack, except for some reason for them. We want to look at the deaths that have occurred. All we want is research. Nobody's telling you not to take them.
Questions should not be an issue.
That's right, man.
So if you go back, we're now looking at 25 years, so looking at a generation. In the year 2000, you had 6.7 children per 1,000 that were diagnosed with autism. Now we're basically closer to the exact number as of 2020 was 27.6. So we're looking basically at a 400% increase. Now, when you look at the vaccine schedule, it's gone from 12 to 70. Exactly. And so that does not mean that it's the vaccines.
No, but it's good to ask the question.
But ask the question. Why have we had a 400% increase in this stuff? What is going on? Because right now the only answer coming from the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry is, well, it's always been 27.6. We just didn't diagnose it correctly.
Yeah. Right. Of course.
That's the excuse.
Quite convenient.
But tell that to parents that had a healthy kid who's suddenly non-functioning within a few weeks after having these shots.
And again, that's the important part. So, going back to some of the studies about vaccines and autism and how the hypothesis has shifted back and forth time after time, they talk about three different things. A lot of these same doctors that are bringing up the combination of the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine causing autism and talking about the damage to the intestinal lining, they're the same ones that are telling you should take this vaccine, don't question vaccines, but they were the ones questioning it originally. So that's how this hypothesis continues to shift, but it hasn't shifted because of research, it's shifted because of politics, and that's dangerous.
Just answer the questions. If COVID would have been handled with, let's answer the questions, let's be transparent, let's put it out on the table, let's all discuss it, we wouldn't have a crisis of trust with the NIH, with the CDC. We wouldn't have a crisis of trust with any of those organizations. Now, I don't believe a damn word they say.
There's something that Robert Kennedy keeps bringing up, and I want to see if it goes anywhere, and I want to see if it can be instituted. because this is something that I didn't know about, and it was kind of shocking when he talked about when it comes to the 72 vaccines that are available for your children and that are part of their schedule. He's like, none of them were ever tested against a placebo group. And as much as people want to say, well, you're anti-vax, they're not saying he's wrong. Right. They're not saying these have not been properly tested in a double-blind study as we do with almost every other medication out there. So why are we plugging our kids with this stuff? And the only thing that our only response is, well, he's an anti-vaxxer. Hold on.
Yeah.
Is he wrong about how we're testing these things? Because nobody can dispute it.
No, and here's his comment. Very serious testing, after which we will know for sure what's good and what's not good. He never said don't take it, it causes autism. It was all put in by Time Magazine and other media members, those words were put in his mouth.
How does anybody argue that? I don't know how you argue that.
Cheddar. Those industries are worried about what happens. Right. What happens if our ability to be able to market a product without being sued gets removed? And what happens if our products are pulled off the marketplace? Yeah. And by the way, Big Pharma, you can go across the board. They've been fined more than anybody in this country.
Let me restate the question then. How does any American argue with that logic? Let's test it. Let's make sure.
Slice of apple.
Yes, get in there. Where'd you get that cheese, Danny?
Get that cheese, Danny.
Cheddar.
This is a really funny line.
Yes. Well, we're talking about a Shane Gillis thing. It was a little bit of an inside joke, so we'll shed some light on it. There's just a great...
If you know it, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't, look it up. If you get offended easily, maybe don't look it up. But if you just like to laugh and maybe humor that is questionable, then look it up, Shane Gillis.
It's pretty funny.
It is hysterical. All right, when we continue on Extra 106.3, how to beat the swamp by using a Nancy Pelosi-style tactic. Next on Extra 106.3, Tug Rhino with Los until 10.
Following this historic election, the news from the left is louder than ever.
Toxic personalities don't have political affiliations.
Which means you need voices you can trust to make sense of it all. Extra 106.3 is dedicated to earning that trust every day with trusted local and national voices, Atlanta radio legends like Neil Bortz and The Kimmer, and the international resources of Fox News. This is your community and your voice. The conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM.
We work hard to be credible. We just diagnose what is happening and say, hey, what is the truth here? Let's boil this down to the truth. Just like the discussion we just had about science, vaccines, all that stuff, right? We just want the truth. That's all we want. We want to be credible here on Extra 106.3, and the advertisers that follow share your values. They share that same desire to be credible, to be truthful, and to deal with you honestly. Well, we're 4 days away from winter? The leaves are on the ground, except for the rogue leaves that I don't know where they come from. I've noticed that they keep ending up on my roof. I don't know if it's like some whirlwind or something. The wind's blowing and it creates like something, and the leaves go flying up high because they're not in the trees anymore, but somehow they keep ending up on my roof. Maybe you've run into that too. Now's the time to get home ready for this winter. Cleaning out those gutters, maybe adding a gutter cover, or maybe doing both. Southern Exterior's got you covered. They will do any gutter cleaning job, and while up there, do a roof inspection too. So don't wait. Find out if you need something done to the roof, especially if you start seeing those little brown rings, because we've had some rain lately. And then get the gutters cleaned out too while you're at it. Southern Exteriors, their number, 8779-SOUTHERN, or their website, southernexteriors.co. It's southernexteriors.co.
Yellow Jacket fans, don't miss your chance to lock in your seat for the 2025 football season today. Next year's home slate is highlighted by the renewal of our rivalry with Clemson, as well as ACC matchup versus Pitt, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. Into the end zone! Touchdown! Haynes King! All hail the King! Support head coach Brent Key and the Jackets on game day by visiting RamblingWreck.com/tickets to get your season tickets today. Sting 'em.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
We're sharing more love than ever before during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. By the end of this year, Subaru and its retailers like Jennifer and the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett will have donated nearly $320 million to charities like the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels America, and the National Park Foundation. It's the reason why we say Subaru of Gwinnett is more than a car dealer. We always go the extra mile for our community, and during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event, you can drive away in the Subaru model you've had your eye on all year. But now through January 2nd is the only time you can get a new Subaru, and Subaru of Gwinnett will donate $250 to a charitable cause of your choosing. It's just one way that we share the love this holiday season. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com for details and start shopping for the Subaru that your family will love for years to come. Then come by and see us for a test drive and meet our staff. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Subaru of Gwinnett, Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, and online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services, but you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. atlturfco.com.
Why should you do your shopping at D. Geller & Son this holiday season? Because you don't want to end up like shouldn't have case number 674.
Okay, everyone, let's open our gifts.
Honey, you go first.
Oh, perfume. You really shouldn't have.
They told me it was their scent of the month. It's in my throat.
It's in my eyes.
What? It's not that bad.
Grandma's down. Shouldn't have gone with the perfume. This year, take the risk out of holiday shopping with a beautiful gift from D. Geller & Son.
This year, hold on the perfume and give them something they'll really love. Like a beautiful piece of fine jewelry from D. Geller & Son Jewelers. From timeless diamond stud earrings to tennis bracelets to our gorgeous selection of hand-picked loose diamonds. D. Geller & Son Jewelers has been helping folks find that perfect holiday gift since 1939. So stop in today. D. Geller & Son Jewelers in Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. And you can always shop online at dgeller.com. Extra 106.3 is proud to be your conservative voice in Atlanta, and we offer a huge slate of original podcasts. Head over to thepodcastpark.com and grab the podcast that you love, all presented by Associated Credit Union.
Pete Hegseth. I am a fan of him. The people in my circle are a fan of him. As far as the military folks, talked to a buddy of mine who is a retired chief warrant officer down in Jacksonville, Florida last night. We're talking about this nomination and the eventual confirmation. And it got us to discussing the fact that this is the recipe for success in Washington, D.C. and with the swamp. And this is kind of an old Nancy Pelosi tactic. You hold the people that are holding out, the ones that don't do what you need to be done as a party to accomplish the policy goals of the president, you hold their feet to the fire. And we've witnessed some Republicans who've really acted tough about, I just don't know that I can vote to confirm Pete Hegseth. And all of a sudden, you see it bubble up on social media. You see it bubble up on the evening news. We are going to primary you.
Love it.
If you do not get in line and do the bidding of the American president on behalf of the American people, exactly what they voted for. If there is something that we learned from Nancy Pelosi, and she is not a good woman, I don't believe she's a good woman. I think she's done all kinds of dirt. Insider trading is alleged, and she, in my opinion, she's probably done all of that.
I wish I had 20 of her on my side.
Jackpot. And you've been saying that a long time, and it took me a while to figure out. It took me a while to make it make sense.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Freaking ruthless. And all of a sudden, the Republicans are being pretty ruthless with those people that aren't falling in line with the nomination of people like Pete Hegseth.
Sure, it needs to be done. And this is what Trump's agenda is going to be reliant on, is that we have people that will actually work for the American people. That's what this is about, and that's why the Democrats are so upset about it. Nancy Pelosi, even though with a broken hip and in the hospital, and gosh, I hope that she gets better soon and that she recovers really well. But even from there, she's affecting what's happening on the Democrat side, which is in complete chaos. By the way, good news, Oversight Committee, AOC out. she's not going to make it because that's someone who they can't consider reliable anymore. We need to do the same things with the people that we can't consider reliable, and we need to get them out. We need to primary them out, but we can't give them those top spots, so they'll lose cabinet positions and you'll be primaried.
For everyone out there, when you hear me talk glowingly about Nancy Pelosi, it's not because of her politics, it's because of her methods. That woman, when she was the Speaker of the House, carried the biggest stick because what she had Silicon Valley and the money in California to tell any Democrat out there, you get on board with this legislation or I'm going to get my backers to spend the money to primary you and get you out of office. This is the beauty of Elon Musk. All right, this is where it comes from. It's we now have, even though he's not in a position of power, so to speak, as far as being somebody who's been elected, but Donald Trump is able to look at any Republican member of the Senate and say, all right, you don't want to go with Pete Hegseth? Well, Elon is the richest man in the history of the world, and he's going to finance your competition.
Yeah. Joni Ernst is a really good example of how it's done.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's going to continue. Look, Mitch McConnell, there's a reason why he's no longer going to be in charge. This is deeper than just Mitch McConnell falling asleep. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, one big concern. Yeah. But the other concern is that he controlled the purse strings. When it came to Herschel Walker running here in the state, Mitch McConnell pulled back all the donations to his campaign. Why? Well, because he didn't want a Trump running or coming in as a senator. He didn't want that. This game's been played for a long time. Now they're upset that Donald Trump's playing the same game they've done and kept people like the people out of politics and out of the House and the Senate. It ain't going to happen anymore, and that's really important. There is so much when it comes to moving money, taking care of money, that everybody is going to complain about, I can't believe the richest man, he's taking over the country. He thinks he's president. No, what he's doing is making sure that the people now run the government again.
But this is all about the soul. George Soros is using his billions of dollars, and his son will be using their billions of dollars. And we saw this being executed in our cities, where you've got DAs that were all about not enforcing the law. And you saw what it did to our American cities. It was eroding one of our foundations. It's part of crippling our society. That is his goal. Elon Musk is using his money to basically say, let's get as much of government out of your way as possible. It's like I said, it's about the soul. It's like, which one are you trying to influence with your billions of dollars? I'd sooner go with the guy who's basically saying, I want to get government out of your life on a regular basis with my money.
And the media would run with whatever narrative that they were told to run with by the Democrats, and you have those weak-kneed Republicans that would always fall for it or use that as the excuse to not go and vote the way the Republicans needed to, and they would sink the goals of whatever the Republicans were trying to get accomplished.
Let me do some inside baseball with our audience. So our radio company at one point was trying to buy a handful of these radio stations to build our brand, increase our ability to reach you. And at the last minute, when we thought we had it done, the Soros group came in and they bought a crazy amount of radio stations around the country. And then you had it basically pass through the federal government as quickly as possible, authorizing the deal. If you want to know what's coming to radio, you're going to hear Soros-backed information on a regular basis. And so this is really a fight of messaging.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, Soros family.
And look it up. There are at least three radio stations here in Atlanta that will be owned by Soros, or Soros-backed company. There are 3 stations here in town.
It won't take long for them to be pushing that messaging.
It will not.
And look for them to put money in bigger stations that are legacy stations here in the city of Atlanta that are trying to sell their product, especially when it comes to radio. Those things that George Soros knows and understands is, especially in cities like a swing state, because that's what this has become. Georgia's a swing state. They're going to try to influence every single election through that medium now, because they know they've lost your mainstream media, your CNNs and all of them. They're going to local once again.
Local is the most important. And we've preached that message as much as we can. But it seems here that Trump is taking a page out of Nancy Pelosi's book, and she's been successful with it for a really long time. Make them play ball, make them fall in line. And here's the reason I think it's going to work for long term for Donald Trump. and the Republicans, conservatives, I should probably say, clarify a little bit, is because we got truth on our side. We have the truth on our side, where Nancy Pelosi, I don't think she ever did. And it worked for a long time for her, but I think it will work for even longer. I think it'll change hearts and minds on our side because people recognize the truth and are open to seeing the truth now, where 4 years ago, maybe not.
Can we send a shout out to Blair?
Yes.
For getting that cheese comedy.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Blair.
Blair,
I'm
appreciate
glad you got that cheese comedy.
Good job, Blair. From the last segment.
Some of that cheese,
Where'd you get that cheese, Danny?
That cheese, Danny.
I got an uncle that puts his grilled cheese in his pocket and he takes it to a restaurant with him. Look it up.
Got to take it everywhere.
Look, if you don't get offended easily.
I'm making them at night.
I'm making them at night.
You don't get offended easily. Go watch the segment because it is so funny from Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis, what is it? Beautiful Dogs is that special that he does that on.
Top of the line stuff there. All right, when we come back, the Crazy Lefty Loonies tell you all about Time's Person of the Year winners, and they do it to tear down Donald Trump. We'll make the explanation after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update next on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Not the most earth-shaking and meaningful commentary I've ever done, but it's on my mind, so here goes. I am obsessed with dogs. How obsessed? At one time, I had 14 golden retrievers. Right now, because of the restrictions of living in a high-rise condo and traveling the country in a motor coach, we're restricted to a smaller dog. It's a rescue, an American Eskimo, who, by the way, sheds a complete new puppy every week. I'm also obsessed with pit bulls, but not in a good way. Watching the news last night, there were at least 3 stories of children being attacked by pit bulls, or, as pit bull aficionados call them, pitties. Yep, to the people that try to convince us it's not the dog, but the owner, they are pitties. How cute. Go to an animal shelter in almost any urban area of America to look for rescue dogs. What will you find? Pit bulls. Pit bull mixes. Why? Because in urban America, the pit bull for quite a while has been the symbol of strength. If you want to be seen as tough, if you want to be seen as intimidating, if you don't want people to mess with you, you get a pit bull. Sad to say, the pit bull is a breed that just needs to go away. The favorite of people who just want to raise dogs for fighting or to protect their drug-dealing territory. They just need to go away. Stop breeding them. Enforce regulations in neighborhoods, in high-rises, against owning a pit bull. There are dogs who are just more vicious than others, and the pit bull is at the top of the list. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood with pit bulls running around. My 2 cents worth. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
EMC Security. Meet EMC Security's hero of the home.
After some break-ins in my neighborhood, it got me thinking about my family's security. A friend recommended EMC Security, so I called them. Now I have peace of mind that my family is safe without having to sign a long-term contract.
Way to go, Sarah. Be the hero of your home with no contracts, fast and reliable monitoring, and rates as low as $16.95.
EMC Security. Smart protection for a safer tomorrow.
Share all the holiday joy this season with the convenient shipping and enhanced network of the United States Postal Service. Visit USPS.com/holiday ride.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Keeping the faith the day after a deadly shooting at a Christian school. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This wasn't a surprise to God, and that he's going to do something mighty with it. And so we're holding on to those words, and we're continuing to believe and trust in him.
Barbara Weirs is a director at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin, where Fox's Garrett Tenney reports.
A 15-year-old girl who was a student, armed with a handgun, opened fire, started shooting in a study hall, killing a teacher and a student and injuring 6 others before turning the gun on herself. 2 students remain in life-threatening critical condition.
So how did the girl get the gun, and why did she do it? Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says,
I do not know. But I will tell you this, our detectives are working hard in the investigative process to find out as many answers as we can.
The FBI and CIA will give lawmakers on the House Intelligence Committee a briefing today on all the drones spotted, mostly over New Jersey. The Biden administration insists there's no threat or foreign ties.
The FBI, FAA, Defense Department, and DHS releasing this statement. We assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Ukraine's gone on the attack in Russia's capital, killing a general in a bombing in Moscow. Igor Kirillov was the head of Russia's nuclear defense forces in Ukraine, accused him of using banned chemical weapons. TikTok is taking its fight for survival to the U.S. Supreme Court, trying to block a law that would ban the social media app unless TikTok cuts ties with its Chinese parent company by January 19th.
If no injunction is granted, app stores offering TikTok could face fines, but enforcement is at the discretion of the Justice Department. President-elect Trump takes office a day after the law is implemented and pledged during his campaign to save TikTok.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. Among the concerns about TikTok, Chinese surveillance. America's listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
Coffee, keys, and extra 106.3. That's how I get to work and home.
Tug Rhino and Los on the Morning Extra. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230. At Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms, whether you're streaming on the app, which we encourage you to do, the best and most convenient way to listen, because it's live, or on demand at your convenience. Streaming on the Extra 106.3 YouTube channel. Rhino is manning that, so you can interact there with the show, and he brings any of your comments to the show that way. If you go old-fashioned on us, which I like a good old-fashioned.
Ooh, yeah, sounds good. Right now?
Yes, well, it's a little early. It's a little early.
It's not.
It's
We're on radio. We're supposed to be drinking.
That's right.
That's
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's noon in Kiev.
Yeah, so yeah, noon would be
3
perfect.
o'clock in the afternoon. We're good there. London, too.
We'd just be wrapping up game day, getting into some college football.
That's right.
It's a little lunch.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you'd like to go old-fashioned with us, 106.3, 1230 a.m., whatever. Both of those work.
They all do.
Fine. They all
I wish
work.
Neil was on today, Bortz. After that last commentary, we're getting a lot of feedback on that.
About pitbulls.
Oh, no, we lost Neil in Europe.
Oh, no. No. Neil's not
passed
dead.
on?
No, he's not dead. Neil's not dead.
I hear that.
Now, I think some
what
people
Neil
are saying
wants-
he's dead to me.
Yes,
I
he's
think
dead to
that's-
him, and Neil wants all pit bulls dead. So this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem for me, and I'll give him a rebuttal on this. It is the owners that train dogs and cause them to be what they are. If he wants to talk about pit bulls being the dog of drug addicts, okay, maybe it is common for them to get, or drug dealers, sorry. Maybe it is common for them to have those kind of dogs. I have pit bulls. I've always had pit bulls. The sweetest dogs in the world, never have attacked my son or anyone else in my family or any visitors. A lot of people are reaching out saying that they're pit bulls as well. I think they're one of the sweetest dogs that have ever been. Yes, there are problems with any kind of dog, but most bites don't happen because of pit bulls or attacks. Most bites happen outside of that breed and are actually other breeds, and people can go look that up, including Neil Bortz. He has an issue with pit bulls, and that's fine, but for him to call for all pit bulls to never be bred again is just an absolutely ridiculous comment on his commentary this morning.
Seems to tick silly, and however, I appreciate your passion on it.
It's his free speech. He's allowed to say whatever he wants.
I don't know. I don't know enough to have an opinion either way. To be honest, to completely frank.
Why? Because pit bulls aren't running around your neighborhood and eating kids the way that Neil is alluding to.
I've never seen it happen.
Okay, well,
I've not.
there you go.
I did see a oh gosh, what kind of little dog was it? A little curly haired dog. Oh, a spaniel, like a Cocker Spaniel. I saw a Cocker Spaniel bite my nephew in the face. I saw that happen when he was about 3 years old. So I have seen that, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know enough about pit bulls. I can see where there is issues with them, whether that's breeding or training or whatever it is. I don't know. But I don't know about putting them all down. Those I don't know about.
I've only had 3 dogs as an adult. So there's the current dog, the Bernedoodle, and she steals my pizza, and that's not cool.
That's low down.
It is low down.
May need to put them all down just for that.
I had a dog that I had to return to the Humane Society because it was a Chihuahua mix, and it was biting kids.
Dude, we had to do that as a kid.
And
that was the meanest dog I've ever seen in my life was a Chihuahua.
The best dog I've ever had was my pit mix, Harry, the sweetest dog in the world. This dog would let you, you would you'd ball up your fist and you'd hand it to him, and he'd put it in his mouth and just sit there with it like a ball. And I wouldn't bite down, just kind of like how long do you want to keep your fist in my mouth? And that's what he would do. He was late, and so to try and
it's relatively odd, but I love dogs.
Listen, this is what Neil does, and I respect him for it. He gets everybody emotional,
riled up.
But as I tell you, if you don't let people know where your goat lives, they can't get your goat.
Yeah, that's right.
You ain't getting my goat. I know what my pit bull was.
Yeah, right.
He's an awesome dog. Best dog I've ever had.
I've never had one. I've been around friends that have had, as I said, I've never seen an issue. The only issue I've ever had was that Chihuahua mix when I was a kid. And that
Chihuahua mix, I had to take it back.
It was bad news.
It bit my niece.
Dude, it bit everybody in our house.
And that was the third person it had bit.
Yeah.
Dude, I bet we got up to 7. I don't say that just to get a shock. I think there were 7 people that this dog bit, and a couple times it bit my dad twice, and I mean it went up his arm like a razor blade.
Yeah,
I mean I was like, ah! He had cuts and it was awful. This was the meanest dog I've ever seen in my entire life, and he was about the size of this 0FG can.
Yeah,
I mean he was not big, but he had the sharpest teeth too, man.
Yeah, I got bit by small dogs more than I've ever been bit by my pit bulls. They've never really. Now listen, when it comes to deaths and the fatality of a bite by a pit bull, yeah, it's going to be worse than most because they're strong. But Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Bulldogs, American Bulldogs, and Mastiffs, a lot of them have. Huskies are very, very aggressive. Brie Chows are very aggressive. And you can do this anyway. I will always go back to who raises them and where they're raised and how they're raised to tell you how they're going to react. I know that when I raised my pit bull, she was a perfect animal. She was sweet. She was cute. The other pit bulls that I've had throughout my life, same thing. They were raised by people who understood how to raise a pit bull.
We don't deserve dogs. I know that.
No, we don't.
We don't deserve dogs.
I do my own commentary on old libertarians to see how that comes across.
Put them down.
That's right.
Talk about how, you might have to put that one out to pasture, huh?
Well, but think about this. And I said this to Rhino when we were talking about.
I love Neil.
No, we love him, but I think he's right about 50% of the time. I think about a coin toss.
Wasn't right about Kamala Harris.
Nailed that. Wrong about Trump. You know, I mean.
Wasn't right about Hillary in 2016.
Nope. absolutely.
So we all are like 50-50.
Sure.
I'm more 95-5.
Well, but the rest of us?
It's weird. Yeah, about 95% of the time, you can pretty much take it to the bank on what Uncle Los tells you.
Yeah.
We're in good
Listen
shape
up,
there.
take some notes. That's why we do story time.
Yeah.
About
Everybody,
once a week.
go Redneck Poet. I've had 3 pit bulls, all 4-legged angels. And, so I don't know. He said And then he said he's not a drug dealer, but he does have a badass chihuahua.
Oftentimes it is the dog owner. That's what it comes down to. Now, granted, by breed, yes, you have more pit bull bites because typically what you're seeing is the dog owners are nowhere near as responsible. But my dog, about the worst thing he ever did back when we had him for 16 years, he ate an Ottoman.
Oh, wow.
And then proceeded, because when we took him to the vet, they're like, well, he's either going to pass it or he's going to die. And to watch what happened over the next 24 hours was one of the most hilarious things ever.
Oh, well, good, because if it had gone the other way, it didn't sound funny at all.
Because whenever he would go and use nature in the backyard,
it was fluffy.
It went from normal size to popped up into a giant piece of foam. You're like, that dog survived that. That dog is pretty strong.
That's a tough
dog.
That's right.
That's a tough, hairy dog.
Yes, sir. I'll take it, man. I'll just, again, say,
He ate an Ottoman. He was like a puppy. He ate the Ottoman.
The entire Ottoman. Our dog rips everything apart if we're not there.
We had this little Chinese pug. His name was Ernie Burney. The Falcons killed him. I'll tell that story another time.
Oh, yeah. I remember that story.
Yes, the Falcons killed my dog.
You blow that Super Bowl.
And the dog.
The dog dies.
It's what happened. I'll tell it another time, I swear. It was the thing.
It's the reason my son also never watched football again.
Well, look, it was damaging for a lot of people.
It was very damaging.
Anyway,
dogs.
Ernie Burney, this little pug dog that I loved dearly. They tell you dogs ain't supposed to eat chocolate.
Oh yeah.
This dog could sniff out chocolate better than any detective I've ever met.
All right.
Dude, he ate, the big bags of M&Ms?
Oh, yeah.
I bet in his lifetime he ate 5 of those.
All right.
Completely. Now, don't get me wrong. When it was starting to pass, man, it was explosive and disgusting. And
diarrhea.
Yes. Everywhere.
It's the worst.
It was awful, but it didn't kill him. He would just bounce back and be like, "Oh, my tummy hurts," and then the next opportunity to eat a giant Reese's cup, he would.
Yeah,
That's just what he did, man.
They're not bright when it comes to taking care of their health.
He loved chocolate. And though he wasn't supposed to have it, and though they tell you it would kill your dog, it did not kill my dog.
Well, it's a different chocolate. That's milk chocolate, and that doesn't really react the same way as like a dark chocolate or a cocoa would with
I thought
dogs.
dark chocolate was better for them.
Oh, no.
No, it's not. It's the okay. Well, anyway, it goes. And he may have ate some dark chocolate. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know, because we had more dark chocolate in the house than we did anything else because Jacob was allergic to milk.
Well, he's lucky he didn't die then.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this
Steel
dog.
trap that dog.
Dude, until it was time to evacuate. And then things went south.
You know how scary and big and brown that dog was.
What was his name?
It was Harry.
As Harry,
with his
pit bull mix?
With his
pit bull
yes,
mix.
the pit mix.
Yeah.
And look how he is with a couple of other 15-pound dogs, and they're just laying around like...
Just all good.
Sweet as can be.
And I know Rhino's had that same experience.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate and love all dogs on this show.
I'll just wait for Neil's commentary tomorrow.
Yeah.
He gets into, I don't know, drugs are good, guns are bad, whatever.
I'm a communist.
With that high-pitched voice. Speaking of that, Time, they named Donald Trump Person of the Year. Hitler and Stalin won that, too. I had no idea. I learned it because the crazy lefty loonies are still not getting the message. They voted to finish off the corruption in our country and the institutions that have been full of rejection of woke. I mean, they want it out. They're tired of it. But the lefty loonies, they couldn't wait to say, well, Donald Trump winning Time Person of the Year is not a big deal because Hitler won it and Stalin won it. Look what they did. Like, are you kidding me, man? That's what your go-to is? I mean, that's all you got about Donald Trump. That's where you have to go.
Let me make sure I got this straight. So Stalin, who starved his own people.
Yes.
Mostly by accident, but economically that's what occurred.
He still did it.
And it was still millions dead. You have Hitler, who started a war that killed somewhere right around 50 million people worldwide. Donald Trump, well, he won an election.
Yeah.
Those are the comparisons, Los.
That's where we're at.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
That's the comparison.
He won 3 elections, really, but that's the problem. Yeah, he's only served twice.
Yes, but that's the thing. Like when you have nothing else,
right?
If you're Time Magazine, when's the? Y'all can tell me.
Doesn't it feel frivolous and silly when you really get down to it that this is all they have left?
Well,
huge eye roll.
This is it. This is all they're going to continue to have. The 34 convictions, they're going to play that game. That's what makes him Hitler.
It's in the article.
Of course. Sure. Yeah. All of it. 4 indictments, blah, blah, blah. This is all they have. We tried so hard politically to attack this man and used lawfare against him, and it all failed. So, hey, why not? He's Hitler. Let them continue down this. This is a childish Democrat party. That's all they've become, is this childish party with a bunch of old women and old white men telling them that, we're here for you. They are nothing but a virtue signaling party at this point. Let them continue to do that. Let's focus on what needs to be done, and that's fixing this country for the rest of the, really world.
This is the part where the opposition is slow on the uptake. In 2016, you had this real anger and frustration, this real resistance towards Donald Trump. He's a Russian asset. By the time you get to 2024 and you had the last 4 years of what you dealt with, they're trying to gin it up again, and I'll tell you why it's not working. You have billionaires, you have Silicon Valley that are all looking at Donald Trump and saying, yeah, that dude's the truth. So when Jeff Bezos comes over, who basically bought the Washington Post in order to counter everything Donald Trump is doing from 2016 to 2020, when he comes to bend the knee, what do you think's going on?
Absolutely.
And the left is slow to this.
Let me read a couple of things for you.
Please do.
This article. Time named global superstar Taylor Swift as Person of the Year last year in 2023. 2024, his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, was named, I'm sorry, I misread that, named Person of the Year along with Biden in 2020. So last year, Taylor Swift, 2020, Kamala, and Joe Biden. Other recipients.
Well, good thing she was very deserving.
No kidding.
The rest of the country and the Democrat Party found her to be more than deserving.
Other recipients include Elizabeth II, climate activist Greta Thunberg, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, social activist Martin Luther King Jr. Time, they want you to know, picks their Person of the Year based on their impact on the news. For good, as the ones that were listed there, or for ill, as the ones that they group with Donald Trump.
Well, where's Kim Kardashian?
Listen, this is a.
Where's Logan Paul?
I'm sure they'll be next. It's next year.
This is a popularity contest. That's all it is. It's a way to,
but for crazies, though. It's not
crazy people.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. I mean, in reality, does it matter? They put them on a magazine cover. Who cares?
When's the last time anybody actually
What's it matter, though?
Flipped into Time Magazine and read it, or even their website? Right. When is the last time someone actually did that? Outside of us, when we bring stories like this because Time is so in a hinge.
Well, Time Magazine is supposed to be an indication of where your community, where your country, where your society is going. That's what they basically push themselves out as. And I will tell you, when it comes to Donald Trump, I think that they have it correct in that you have someone who just gave you the biggest political turnaround probably in history from where he was at over a 16-month period to where he is now. So I think that's very redeemable. Some of the other ones, you go through it and, hey, you want to point out Stalin and Hitler? Yeah, they had the same sort of impact, although on the negative. You want to tell me about Taylor Swift? All right, maybe I'm downplaying this. I don't think she's had that big of an impact on society.
No. She sold 1 billion tickets and made $1 billion.
I don't think Greta Thunberg has had that big of an influence on society.
Even though the leftist media, like this Metro article,
I'd put Anthony Fauci in front of any one of them, and
Absolutely
that's
right.
and I'd put it in the same breath as Stalin.
Yeah. Well, because they have a same or similar track record.
Same atmosphere.
Look, again, it doesn't let them continue this game. It's such a small little minority of people, a tyrannical minority that's just has no business having any decision in this country. This is all they have control over, is to really troll people and make things out of stuff that nobody really cares about. Nobody's going and saying, hey, guess what I just got? The new cover of Time. And magazines are so done. Like, when was the last time you got a magazine in the mail that you didn't throw away?
Yeah, like an actual physical copy. Yeah. And, to be honest, I keep some old ones in the bathroom occasionally.
There you go.
Just in case you need a little something.
Every once in a while, I'm like, hey, that's a cool magazine about something historical that I want to buy.
Yeah. I still have a copy of Newsweek, and I was never a subscriber. I think it was Newsweek. But regardless, we were flying a couple days. We had planned to go to New York to see the in-laws, and we were like a week or 10 days behind 9/11 when they finally opened up. Mm-hmm. So you get to the airport, and the first thing I bought was one of those magazines because it just was so top of mind. I mean, it was a week after, and I still have that to this day.
It is supposed to be a reflection of what's going on in society. And again, because Time is where it is. But now it used to be, okay, who's Oprah interviewing? Because that's the
right.
Now it's turned into, all right, who's Theo Vaughn with?
Or Joe Rogan.
Or that is now what it's become.
What a shift.
I'm just glancing over at Theo Vaughn, interviewing some people, and I'm like, all right, those people must matter because Theo Vaughn is talking to them.
Somebody must have told Theo that they matter because I'm not sure he's dialed in enough. I mean, he's hysterical, so funny comedian, but... And I don't know how much of it's an act. Maybe some of it's an act. I don't know. You think Board Up Goey Virgin River?
Yeah, a lot of it's an act.
Okay, all right. Well,
it's a great act.
It is, if that's what it is. And if you say it is, then I've got no reason not to believe you. But
it's like sketch.
Oh no! I don't.
Who, by the way,
Theo ain't do nothing like that.
What's up, brother?
Matters more than Time magazine.
No kidding. That's the truth. Morning Xtra and Extra
right, brother.
That's right, brother.
8 o'clock.
So does sketch.
8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier experts, 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is their website. When we continue, Dems won't win again until they shed their biggest weakness, which they don't even recognize as a weakness. Tug Rhino and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
The Daniel Penny case, officially it's over. Now they're threatening to kill white people. They're threatening to challenge us white people. They're coming after us as Black Lives Matter. I mean, shame and disgrace, and you're asking for trouble. And if you're threatening me, I will respond in kind.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Lee Brand Jewelry and Watches would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and to thank all of you who have made Lee Brand a success. There's no greater feeling than making Christmas special for someone you love, and special Christmas memories are made at Lee Brand Jewelry and Watches, where quality, value, and service are the Lee Brand difference. Also, check out Lee Brand's pre-owned Rolex watches for a timeless gift that will be treasured forever. Located in Sandy Springs in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center, or visit online at Leebrand.com. That's Leebrand.com.
If you notice any cracks in your foundation, they are not going to go away. They need to be addressed as soon as possible to reduce additional costs that come with repair. Ramjack is the best company in the industry for repairing your foundation. We have the highest quality products in the nation. So, if you are experiencing foundation problems, please contact us at ramjack.com/Atlanta or call us at 770-502-8881. That's 770-502-8881.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth if they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlanta Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. Atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. Atlantasmiles.com.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turfco to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turfco was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turfco to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
I am Michael Green, chef and third-generation owner of Matthew's Cafeteria, located on Main Street in historic downtown Tucker, Georgia. We have been serving Southern comfort favorites since my grandparents opened the doors in 1955. 70 years later, Matthew's is still preparing those same recipes. Come in today, grab a tray and sit down to award-winning fried chicken, turkey and dressing, hand-peeled mashed potatoes, and made-from-scratch biscuits, pies, and cobblers. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 6 days a week. Come and see us today and experience the Matthews way.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, December 17th. Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt has agreed to pay $43,000 in penalties for violating campaign finance laws. The State Ethics Committee says that Sheriff Labatt failed to identify all the businesses his wife owned and committed other campaign finance violations. Labatt reportedly failed to disclose $149,000 in expenditures to Alliance Business Management Group, a company organized by his wife, as well as $72,000 of Zelle transfers to his wife from his campaign account. Additionally, he did not disclose his wife's ownership interests in business entities or his position as an officer in the nonprofit Think Twice, Save a Life. The sheriff blamed the violations on not having a professional campaign staff, treasurer, or legal counsel, describing the mistakes as unintentional. The Atlanta Police Department is seeking the public's help in identifying a person of interest in the stabbing death of a 54-year-old man near Trinity Avenue in Atlanta. Police say the attack was unprovoked and occurred while the victim was sleeping. Surveillance video released by authorities show the male suspect walking in the area around the time of the stabbing. Police urge anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons ended their losing streak with a lackluster 15-9 win over the Las Vegas Raiders last night. Kirk Cousins threw for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception in the win. Jesse Bates III intercepted former Falcons QB Desmond Ridder in the end zone to secure the game. The Falcons are now 7-7 on the season and in second place behind the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts since like 1947. I think it's 77 years that they've been a locally owned HVAC company in Atlanta. One of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. To get a hold of them, you can call them at 770-GET-HEAT or reach out to them at centralheat.com. They can do maintenance, just to keep everything running at top efficiency. If you've got a repair that needs to be done, they can do that no matter what the brand of the HVAC is. But they are your Atlanta carrier experts, so if you do need a new system, they can provide that as well over at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. The Democrats, they find themselves in an interesting spot, if you ask me. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Xtra. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, that the Democrats will not win another election until they understand it's them that people don't like or trust. Kamala Harris lost not because she's a woman or because America's racist. She lost because she's unqualified and has no plan for America or the future. When asked, what would you do differently? Why? America's in kind of just in the muck. We can't get ourselves unstuck. She was asked this on A View. It was meant to be a softball question. And even was discussed on a podcast how it was meant to be a softball question. And she said, there's nothing I could think of that I would change. So you're telling me with the economy not working the way it's supposed to work and benefiting Americans the way it's supposed to work, or wars around the world, you're telling me there's nothing? There's nothing comes to mind that you might might give it a second go at. That is because she has no ideas. She has no original thoughts. All of them were fed to her by Barack Obama, which leads me to this Washington Post article and the fact that Democrats will not win until they move on from Barack Obama and his ideas. Because Washington Post predicts that Kamala Harris, y'all, is going to run again in 2028.
Yeah!
Let's go! Dude,
Please.
break out the champagne.
Please. There is not a Democrat that any Republican should be afraid of that would run in 2028. You can't give me a name that would make me fear that they have an opportunity to win because they are this ridiculously stupid when it comes to talking to the American people. They don't offer them anything. The whole idea of joy was such a joke, and where it came from, the strength of joy through a Nazi party, and to see it in Wikipedia, like everything they did was wrong from day one. Picking Tim Walz, the worst candidate for vice president. Horrible. They haven't done a thing. Please let them continue to run on Obama-isms.
You call it stupid. What I will say is that they were in charge for the better part of the last 16 years. They were doing it right. But the world's changed on them. That's the deal. And if you want to say something stupid, it's that they didn't recognize that we have moved away from Obama-era politics, the DEI stuff. We are getting back to meritocracy, and they were slow to react to it.
They didn't embrace it. That's the thing. They hate it. They hate meritocracy.
But we hit this point in 2024, whether it be economics or whether it be the flooding of illegal immigrants, whatever it was an entire souffle of things that all came together, and we went, this tastes like crap. Here's what we want to get back to. And so much of what we have spent the better part of 20 years dictating how we view things, what we say, what rules we play by, all went out the window. And they were slow to see it.
The Washington Post even backs the idea of her running, which I think is great.
Please do so.
Yes. But see, that's what I'm saying.
These identity politics hires have no chance right now.
And that's wonderful news for us because there are people that will listen to the Washington Post and be cheerleading this. And if you look at the polling, I think it was probably 2 weeks ago, there was a poll that I saw, and forgive me for not remembering where, but when asked, Democrat specific, who do you want running? She was out front by a wide margin. No, absolutely right.
Keep it that way.
It should be that way. And can y'all imagine her with J.D. Vance in a debate?
It would be.
Dude,
she would never debate.
Awesome. And here's one thing I'll leave you with, too. 32%, that was the number. 32% of Democrats want her to run. Okay, that's the thing. Same 32% that still think Biden's doing a good job, still thinks wearing a mask is a smart thing to do, probably getting 15 boosters.
Let those 30% dummies pick their dummy candidate. I have no problem with it. And again, they have lost touch with the American people and what's important to the American people. And you know what? I think there's a renewed nationalism. And now, after 4 years, what is she going to do over the 4 years that says, hey, she's a better candidate than she was 4 years ago? She can't do anything. She hasn't done anything as VP to say, here's what I'm going to do before I leave office for the American people to show you that I'm a serious candidate. No, she's hidden. She probably doesn't even want to run. Her best bet is to take her book deals and everything she can and get as far away because she'll never win a seat again. I hope they do run her, but eventually they'll come to their senses and saying, hey, we can't play the same games we played in 2020. It's just not going to work. We had that opportunity. When it comes to the economy, now we got to battle a better economy when Trump's done, and you're going to do it with what? Joy and happiness? And all the problems that you created, you're going to blame on someone else?
Comes with success.
Yeah, she's got no shot. I hope they do run her.
Bill Clinton won in part from being a blue dog Democrat from a southern state and being able to go against George Bush and his promise not to raise taxes, yet here came new taxes. And that's what he was able to present, and that's what won. Barack Obama ran as a Manchurian candidate. Essentially, here's what my view of America is going to be, and it's going to be great. And he delivered on none of that.
Zero.
You didn't recognize at the time that this guy was so anti-American, yet he always, again, policies always low in the gutter with approval rating. His own popularity always stayed high. It took until this year for people to turn their back on Barack and Michelle Obama.
I don't think they realize, though, that it's them they're turning the back on.
They don't know yet.
They're
figuring it out. They're figuring it out. Yeah. What it's going to take is the cultivation of some new form of Democrat. And they are so against that. the idea that you're going to have somebody who's much more Clinton than Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. It's got to be there.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem the Democrat Party has right now is they are struggling between that tyrannical minority or the progressive groups that are out there and the moderate Democrats that are like, hey, we've lost control. What Nancy Pelosi is doing now, and you can see it if you actually pay attention to politics right now, is some of the older Democrats like a Nancy Pelosi and some of the older, even Bernie Sanders has kind of jumped in, is they're starting to turn on the others, the young, the progressives. They are trying to make AOC conform to what they want her to be as a Democrat, and they're pushing her out of these committees because they're saying, unless you change the way you're going to do what you do, and you have to stop primarying the Democrats that are running in your area, because that's their big concern, is that these progressives are getting rid of the old. They're attacking back. They're so lost right now, they don't even know where to go.
Who is the smart, polished, younger Democrat that isn't from the coast? That's the question. That's the part.
It's not Pete Buttigieg.
That's the story.
No.
Who is the smart, polished Democrat who isn't from the coast? And who isn't gay?
I will tell you that
that's Mayor Pete's problem.
I'll tell you who their best one is, and I don't want them to know this, but it's Wes Moore out of Baltimore, out of Maryland. That is their best opportunity to recapture that. They think it might be, the Hakeem Jeffries, the, wannabe Barack Obama, but really Wes Moore is that guy, and they're not getting him into those positions or where he's got a national spotlight to really show what he's capable of doing. He's completely wrong. Don't get me wrong on this. He's completely wrong and knows all his ideas, but like Barack Obama, he knows how to deliver it, and it's a lot less controversial when he does it.
I believe that if you didn't have the lockdown queen and Gretchen Whitmer, if she hadn't had all the missteps,
she was it.
And oh, by the way, she's female, and
super attractive.
They're gonna. That
matters.
It matters, but they're gonna figure out pretty quickly here. They're now 0 for 2 running women, and they haven't been close.
Yeah.
So because this is what's been the fun part about it. We're not allowed to talk about it, but we're gonna do it on this show because we do it on this show. They assume the women vote comes in for these women.
Yeah.
It's not. You know why? Because women are territorial and they question other women.
They do. And
married women question other women.
All the time. Can I give you an example?
Sure.
My wife even told me the other day, she was like, I don't really like women singers. She was like, occasionally.
Yeah.
And this was like out of the blue. We were listening to music, and she was just like, it just does nothing but echoes Los's point.
Thank you.
She was like, I just don't enjoy female singers as much as I do male singers. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
I talked with Janelle King about this, and I'm like, what? I like Condoleezza Rice. Like, she would be a leader I would look into and say, hey, this is a woman I'd like. And Janelle was like, no women as presidents. Erin, same way. No women. They're too emotional. Women recognize the emotion and recognize how they act in those kind of situations. The funny part is I kind of disagree. There's some women out there that I'm like, I think she'd be a great president.
Condi is one of them.
And I'm told all the time by women, not by men. I'm told by women more than anyone else. No, they're too emotional. They shouldn't be in that spot. And it's weird.
If Gretchen Whitmer was Dave Whitmer, it'd be a much better chance.
Oh, yeah.
She can be.
Because there'd be women that would go, I like that Dave Whitmer. I know that he locked us down and he kept us from going out to places, and his spouse went ahead and went to the lake and did all. Remember, that was her thing.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting everything. We're taking that on the boat.
That all would be overlooked if Gretchen Whitmer was a man.
Yeah.
By women, not by women.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like Josh Shapiro might be an idea. He's got to really work, but you know what?
He's Jewish.
He's Jewish. Exactly.
That's never have that.
Bernie Sanders said the same thing. Bernie Sanders said, I'm Jewish. I don't think I can win the presidency. And he knows that there's a lot of anti-Semitism throughout this country that wouldn't allow that.
Throughout his party.
And that's the funny part.
Yes.
Right, yes. Well, that's, yeah.
By the way, Josh Shapiro would have been running for vice president without a problem in a swing state.
And I think he could have pulled her in a swing state that, Tim Waltz, Ferry Boy, over there shaking his hands and running around just made people go, I don't want that guy. That guy's not a man. He's a fake man.
I don't think you lose quite as badly with Shapiro. I still think I don't think you were stopping the Trump momentum.
You're not trying. Yeah, exactly.
You have to jump through so many hoops and play by so many rules within their party to think that a guy who is running and would have probably delivered the state of Pennsylvania, that's another state, another swing state that was lost by Kamala Harris. Had they had him, there's an opportunity, but they looked at it and said,
Nope.
You're too Jewish.
Yeah, Kamala Harris. I can't imagine the Democrat Party, 2 years down the road. Let's go 2 years because that's when you're going to start seeing campaigning and ideas of who will run. I can't see them going back to Kamala Harris. I really can't. I mean, it would be completely stupid. But, this was the biggest failure of a presidential candidate I think I've ever seen. Yeah, they got the joy and emotion but they had no issues. They couldn't speak to the American people. They avoided the press. They couldn't get her elected, so they installed her. Could you think of something worse? Do you really want to go through that again in primary? I would love to watch the primary process if they allowed one, but the Democrats are totally against democracy, totally against a republic, and are communists. I don't even know if they'd allow a primary anymore.
They will this time around. They have to.
There's two things that jump out to me. The first one was when she started showing up on The View, when she went on to Colbert, and I asked the question, I'm like, why are you going to places that your audience should already be? And it was...
You got them.
That was the
Those
idea.
are your voters. Those are your voters.
The explanation ended up making sense. They didn't have them.
Yeah, well,
they didn't get their own Democrat voters. They were not able to lock them in. So that's why she was doing it. And to think, and this is where it's a faulty process when you to talk about 2028. If she can't interview well now, what makes you think when you have to speak to the press and get out in front that you can run in 2028 without seemingly looking like me on a Saturday afternoon during football season?
Yeah.
Prove it special.
I think all the gloves are off, too, because Gavin Newsom is going to jump in that primary debate, and he'll tear her apart. In all honesty, I think that he's played the middle a little better than she has.
Oh, sure.
And he's more believable when he lies about being in the middle than she is. I think he does. I think you'll start to see... Pete Buttigieg is going to jump into something. I don't know if it'll be that. But Mark Kelly and Shapiro should jump into that. She'll look like a fool on that stage.
I think you're along those lines. I think Gavin Newsom would dance circles around her. I think Gretchen Whitmer would do the same thing. I think they are by far and away much more along the lines of what's going to run in 2028.
Oh, Rolling Stone. You're so irrelevant in politics. Maybe you should just stick to music. But you suck at that, too. I don't know what you're going to do, but we'll talk about them doubling down on a failing idea next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. This is Extra 106.3.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
It's Christmas again, and it's that time of year to gather with family and those you hold dear. But what will you bring and where will you go? When it comes to great gifts, there's just one name to know. Solomon Brothers, it's just the right place. Because a fine piece of jewelry puts a smile on a face. So stop in today, and you know you won't fail, because at Solomon Brothers, there's an incredible sale. From 1 carat to 6, you'll get the best deal. You'll love how it looks and how it makes her feel. In carats, they start at just under $1,000. You'll find earrings and bracelets or a ring for their hand. And when you give a gift that's from Solomon Brothers, it will be unique and not like the others. So don't miss this sale because it won't last long. Just trust Solomon Brothers and you'll never go wrong. Stop into Solomon Brothers Jewelers today and get 1 carat total weight diamond stud earrings, tennis bracelet, necklace, or rings starting at under $9.99. So shop Solomon Brothers Jewelers or SolomonBrothers.com.
Hey Roswell, looking for the perfect bite this football season? Head on over to Nucky's Hoagies Roswell Corners, where every sandwich is crafted with love by us.
The Sub Sisters,
Stacy
and Shannon. Whether you're looking to cater a football tailgate party or grabbing lunch to go or dining in, we've got delicious Nucky's menu items for you. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagies, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, with the freshest ingredients that'll make your taste buds dance.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell Corners on Woodstock Road your new favorite sandwich spot.
Being in an accident really bites. You need people around you that are going to make the whole process easier to deal with. I just described David Van Sant at Van Sant Law. He used to work for the insurance companies. What an advantage. He knows who to call, what to say, and they're not going to pull the wool over his eyes. Give him a call. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
Military veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but lack trusted connections to expedite their path to success. The civilian world can be confusing, and veterans do not need to journey through it alone. When you reach out to the Warrior Alliance, we will guide you to the best-in-class resources that can lead you toward renewed purpose after serving our nation. Find out why thousands of warriors have found success after service after engaging with the Warrior Alliance. For assistance, go to thewarrioralliance.org or call 404-210-1776.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve, but one who genuinely cares about each player
You have what it takes. We got this.
can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal. Extra 106.3 is proud to continue on as the conservative voice of Atlanta.
We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country.
The Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, Neil Boyce, local and national decision makers are all keeping it straight on the road toward the new Trump administration. This is Extra 106.3 FM and streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app.
Lord, I grew up reading Rolling Stone magazine, reading Spin magazine, and I even remember being, late middle school, early high school, because that's what I was so into, sports and music. I remember even then going, what are these fools talking about? They'd be in direct opposition of things that my parents believed or I believed, or, that's the way it always went.
They've been like that, right?
Always.
When I was growing up, I did the same thing. I really enjoyed Rolling Stone, only to find out about new albums or what the artist was up to, and really looking into the actual music portion of that. And I saw it creeping in. But I think they really helped me separate that. They helped me separate and go, look, I really like Eddie Vedder and I like Pearl Jam. Got my tickets, by the way, for Aaron's birthday, so I'm excited about that.
Congratulations.
But I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him a lot. Yeah. Same thing with Rage Against the Machine and all those. Yeah, I'm kind of like, hey, if I go to your event, I want to hear your music. I don't want to hear your politics, so I get shut up and sing. I don't want to hear it there. If you want to talk about it outside of that, go ahead. Whatever. But Rolling Stone kind of helped me separate the two.
That makes sense to me. And I'm on Rolling Stone. I actually went to their music, their country music thing, because they have a little. They've branched out because
Country Stone
so big, yeah. And there's a picture, Los, and it is Donald Trump looking bloated and angry, orange hair, all of it, but he's on fire, and it says support journalism that speaks truth to power. And I can't roll my eyes further back in my head.
Have we turned our back on that term yet?
Which one?
Speaking truth to power.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one was in vogue for a little bit, for sure. But apparently it still works on the left because they're still using that as a statement. But that's what Rolling Stone does, and that's what they've always done. Now they're in that vein of, no, we don't want to moderate at all. We don't want to moderate at all.
I tell you the reason why I watch MSNBC, why I'm going through Mother Jones and Rolling Stone. Oh, by the way, Mother Jones is like way out there.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone, much more relaxed in terms of their politics.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're still getting a good idea of what the thought process is on the other side. And they have an article, and it features Greg Kassar. And the name of the article is Dems' New Progressive Leader, quote, Diet Republicanism Won't Work. So this is a Democrat out of Texas, represents the Austin district. And the entire point that he is going through in this article is talking about what Donald Trump is planning on doing. And they look at getting rid of illegal immigrants as somehow draconian in nature. That it's awful. I can't believe they're going to do this. But the main part of the article is that the progressives within the Democrat Party, all they consider it, and very similar to what happens with communism, we just didn't progressivism enough. That's why they think they lost. The idea to moderate, the idea to move a little bit more to the right or to change some of their views, this man is looking at it and saying, no, we just didn't push identity politics enough. We didn't talk about the things that are within society that we feel like we're able to capitalize on. They actually think that their way of DEI and everything else that has been rejected, that they need to double up on it in order to win next time around.
Could you be more misguided? Could you read the room with less ability than Rolling Stone magazine and liberals?
Listen, they're so stupid sometimes with these headlines. I don't know how they say that when you start looking, and I just kind of went back to a lot of their headlines. A lot of them are about the polling disaster that's going to show why Trump is not going to win the election. Of course, all the lies about Elon Musk is endorsing the Great Replacement conspiracy theory, all of this. Rolling Stone, by the way, talking about lies and misinformation, offered that $99 lifetime subscription, which they pulled back on last June, saying, sorry, I know that you guys all thought this was real. We're actually going to cancel that lifetime subscription you paid $100 for. This is a magazine. I understand it. I think music, especially when Rolling Stone was, created by a hippie, was a very political and music kind of hand-in-hand kind of thing. So I get why they've always been political. But to sit here and pretend like you're right and telling the truth when you've told lie after lie about Donald Trump is a little silly to a lot of people.
So Kassar within the article, and again, Democrat out of Texas, representing the area of Austin, which is known as being pretty far leftist in terms of the area. San Antonio to a certain extent, Dallas to a certain extent, Houston to a certain
big
extent.
Cities.
Austin is like the hub of this way of thinking within the state of Texas. Within the article, it points out Kassar believes progressives can, quote, supercharge this push within the party and tell the real story of what is responsible for what ails America, rather than letting Trump and his cronies control the narrative and scapegoat immigrants and other marginalized groups. First off, when they're living here for free, they ain't marginalized.
No. They're being propped up. They're being taken care of better than most anybody else.
And to think that you can supercharge by being even more progressive, even more out there.
We should have let 30, 40 million in.
By all means, keep going,
Yes, that's
because
right.
you're not talking. The guy's Ralph. All right. He's my guy who works in AC. He does AC repair. Again, it's a fictitious person. But when you're trying to tell Ralph about how another 20 million illegals coming in is going to help him with his life, he's saying,
No,
the
it's
hell
not.
it ain't. And Ralph voted Democrat his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys don't represent anything that I value in my life now.
Up until about a month ago, maybe. Ralph has changed.
Ralph has changed his way of voting.
His point of view, because he realized, Ralph is like, well, wait a minute. You're telling me that allowing more people in to do the same job that I do is going to improve my life, or is that going to reduce the wages that I can earn because there's so many more of me around?
Let me give you another little line from this. Because remember, what did we talk about? 96% of the news media is Democrat.
Always.
98% of the news stories about Donald Trump during the campaign were negative. This is what this particular representative is saying in Rolling Stone. Quote, asked about basically the election. He says, I'll caveat this with two important points. So one's only matters. One is that Republicans have a huge responsibility for what happened in the election, and that they lied at every opportunity they could. They had an enormous propaganda machine, and they did everything they could in Congress to make things worse and not work. propaganda machine? You mean it was Joe Rogan and the alternative media? What are you talking about? How can you possibly play the victim when you have 96% of the news media on your side and 98% are basically going negative against Trump and $2 billion in ad spending and campaign spending, and you're complaining that they had the propaganda?
6-1, the spending was 6-1.
On the internet, yes. Your Instagram and Facebook spending was 6-1.
That unbelievable numbers. And just if you break down the billions that were spent with Kamala versus the money that was spent in Trump, it should have been a shoo-in. If it weren't for actual issues, she wins that outright. There's no doubt. If you're just going on marketing, she's the winner. She's going to win. But issues matter. Like the way people are living and the way things that are happening in everyday Americans' life, that matters. The truth matters.
The only time that those kind of issues don't matter is when everything's going great because the president's doing everything they're supposed to be doing, like the first Trump campaign. It's only easy to inject what the Democrats did in 2020 if everything else is running really well. If they couldn't attack the economy, they can't attack this. They always go to identity politics. But when, like we saw this past 4 years, we're struggling and every American's struggling and you can't come up with an answer, you blame other people for what you've been doing for the past 3.5 years. It was a joke of a campaign, and that's why she lost, and that's why she'll continue to lose, and the Democrats will lose unless they start to fix those issues.
Greg Gassar, who's going to chair the Progressive Caucus, when he makes his second point. This is the only thing in the article when I read, I went, wow, okay, they understand the problem. They don't know how to fix the problem. He says the second caveat is that it's clear Democrats have started losing many of the working class voters who are really the base of the party, and we've been losing those voters across race, across ideology. You have more and more disaffected voters choosing to not participate at all, and even some who voted for Joe Biden or Barack Obama who chose to vote for Donald Trump. If you want to win, you just can't have that happen.
Yeah.
So it gets the problem.
Yeah.
Can't figure out the solution.
I think we could probably all you have to do is listen to this show.
I'll help you.
We will hold your hand through it, pal. Let me give you a couple other Rolling Stone articles. We won't read them, but just the headlines. Why Kash Patel may be Trump's scariest pick. Another one, fascism forward. Every awful thing Trump has promised to do in his second term. That's what's in Rolling Stone. When we come back, Trump is bypassing the government to get stuff done. Next on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Not the most earth-shaking and meaningful commentary I've ever done, but it's on my mind, so here goes. I am obsessed with dogs. How obsessed? At one time, I had 14 golden retrievers. Right now, because of the restrictions of living in a high-rise condo and traveling the country in a motor coach, we're restricted to a smaller dog. It's a rescue, an American Eskimo, who, by the way, sheds a complete new puppy every week. I'm also obsessed with pit bulls, but not in a good way. Watching the news last night, there were at least 3 stories of children being attacked by pit bulls, or, as pit bull aficionados call them, pitties. Yep, to the people that try to convince us it's not the dog, but the owner, they are pitties. How cute. Go to an animal shelter in almost any urban area of America to look for rescue dogs. What will you find? Pit bulls. Pit bull mixes. Why? Because in urban America, the pit bull for quite a while has been the symbol of strength. If you want to be seen as tough, if you want to be seen as intimidating, if you don't want people to mess with you, you get a pit bull. Sad to say, the pit bull is a breed that just needs to go away. The favorite of people who just want to raise dogs for fighting or to protect their drug-dealing territory. They just need to go away. Stop breeding them. Enforce regulations in neighborhoods, in high-rises, against owning a pit bull. There are dogs who are just more vicious than others, and the pit bull is at the top of the list. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood with pit bulls running around. My 2 cents worth. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
We're sharing more love than ever before during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. By the end of this year, Subaru and its retailers like Jennifer and the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett will have donated nearly $320 million to charities like the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels America, and the National Park Foundation. It's the reason why we say Subaru of Gwinnett is more than a car dealer. We always go the extra mile for our community, and during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event, you can drive away in the Subaru model you've had your eye on all year. But now through January 2nd is the only time you can get a new Subaru, and Subaru of Gwinnett will donate $250 to a charitable cause of your choosing. It's just one way that we share the love this holiday season. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com for details and start shopping for the Subaru that your family will love for years to come. Then come by and see us for a test drive and meet our staff. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Subaru of Gwinnett, Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, and online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Whether you get pulled over or get into a crash, drinking and driving will change your whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. For some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exterior.
How and why? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Big questions in Madison, Wisconsin, the day after a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School left a teacher and a student dead.
I'm feeling a little dismayed now. I'm so close to Christmas. Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever.
Police Chief Sean Barnes says 2 of the 6 other students wounded are in critical condition. The shooter was a 15-year-old female student.
She died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Fox's Garrett Tenney reports from Madison.
So far, the shooter's parents are cooperating with the investigation. Detectives searched the 15-year-old girl's home and are piecing together a timeline leading up to this tragedy, trying to figure out how the teen got the gun. And the biggest question, why they carried out this tragedy.
House lawmakers hope to get more answers today from the FBI and CIA at a briefing for the Intelligence Committee about thousands of drone sightings in recent weeks, mostly over New Jersey. National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby tells Fox.
We have not identified anything anomalous or any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast.
TikTok is going to the Supreme Court, hoping justices block a law that would ban the social media app in the U.S. if TikTok does not cut ties with its Chinese parent company by January 19th.
But on January 20th, Donald Trump can extend the deadline for that sale, and it sounds like he's open to it.
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok.
The TikTok ban has to do with bipartisan concerns that the Chinese owners are mining data from U.S. users.
Fox's Peter Ducey. We get an update of the economy this morning showing retail sales rose more than expected last month, 0.7% year over year. The increase 3.8% in November. Something for the Federal Reserve to consider as it starts a 2-day meeting that may end up with an interest rate cut tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
Tired of all the negative media manipulation? Wake up feeling right with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Tug, Rhino, and Low on the Morning Extra. Until 10, we call this one the bonus hour.
Yeah.
And there's a long reason behind it. I won't go into it now, but this is the we're bonusing you our time,
man,
in this 9 to 10.
Thank you for giving me your bonus.
Yes, that's exactly.
It's made me feel good.
It's almost like if your boss was to come to you and say, "We want you to work an extra hour, but you will not be compensated accordingly," and you said, "Okay."
Yeah,
because it's not like you can
but,
go, no,
except for Joe.
The good news,
Joe's squared away.
Let's go. Joe's good.
Joe's like, oh, got that flat apartment. Get ready to get that because of the bonus hour.
Yeah, he gets
close.
That bonus. Yeah, you get that extra $12. Good job.
It's 15 actually.
Yeah,
there you go. Finally, they get
mine was 7. Mine was 7 when I started.
Yeah, no kidding. God, if
$7 an hour, man, working in radio in 2001.
And we had to work a lot harder than they do now. These kids have no idea how hard we had to work to put highlight packages.
Well, it wasn't all digital.
It was very
That was
rare.
the challenge. A lot of people who dealt with the cart system or reel to reel. Oh, what misery some of that stuff was.
I had to do the entire race for the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa race to 61. And
damn, you are old.
Yes.
Summer of 98.
I had to sit through every game, right, with a reel-to-reel that would record what was coming over the network.
Like two big circles.
Yeah,
Think
two
about
big
it in those
circles.
Terms.
And I had basically a tape, and I had to put a piece of paper in each highlight and then go back and cut all that tape. I had razor blade marks on my fingers because that's how we had to cut the tape.
Thought you were into drugs.
Oh, they thought I was doing something really bad for a long time. I'm like, no.
I remember how dumb it was when I had to work with it was known as the ENCO system. That's what we were using. And the ENCO system,
which is a broadcast system,
right?
Yeah,
basically, think about it in terms of if you have in front of you, you have Windows, all right, and you go to your file manager and you decide you want to take a file from a folder and put it on your desktop. Now that's a pretty easy thing to do.
Yeah.
You just pull it over and drop it in. Not an ENCO. In fact, when you would try and move a file,
right,
3/4 of the time it would just delete. And you would never find it ever again.
Bad news.
It was terrible.
Yeah,
you would lose entire files out of nowhere.
Bad.
You actually had to, if you wanted to move a file from one place to another, imagine if it was a 10-minute interview. Okay, put yourself in this position, Joe. You want to move a file from one place to another. In your world, you just move it over from the desktop to wherever.
Yeah. Yes, very easy.
In the ENCO system, you had to record it to a digital audio tape and then re-record it back in. So 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back in.
Oh, even worse than that. Before that, I used to do highlights for Rob Stadler over at Star 94 and all the guys at 790
Legendary
The Zone.
news voice.
Yeah, and all of the...
Boy, he was bitter.
Yeah, oh God. All the drops. Like any of hey, let's hear from Bobby Cox at that point.
And a sound on tape.
Joe, you would have to get a cart and you'd have a wall with you'd have to go in every morning, organize your cuts and put them which ones you wanted. And anytime someone called for you, had to grab them, throw them in the cart machine and hit the button real quick.
Which a cart was like an 8 for you listening right now.
It's like an
8-track.
That's exactly what it
you would have a wall of carts. It looked like your dad's sound room in the 70s.
Yeah,
it just all looked like 8 tracks on the wall. It was
so bad.
I remember when I first moved to Atlanta because we had moved away from carts in Dallas. And my first week I come in, I look over at the wall and I'm like, what are those? They're like, it's a cart system. And I'm like, oh no. I've gone back in time.
Where?
You'd grab 7 commercials in carts and walk them in. And then there'd always be one that somebody accidentally erased.
Yes, with the magnet thing. Yeah, that dude.
That's how you
Life
got rid of them.
before digital abilities in broadcast were different. So I
To
use
put it in
reel to-
perspective for the listener,
Yeah.
all of my stuff is on one laptop, and I have a little soundboard that I get from
And you can just fire
YouTube, and I quickly edit it.
It's
It
why
takes like 2 seconds.
Your room back in the day used to be the biggest room because it had all the broadcast equipment.
It was so huge. It was crazy.
In the Navy's where I used to, where I learned to use the reel-to-reel because we had to record all the comms.
Oh, yes.
For every piece of communication that came into the ship or left the ship in case there was any question about
You had
what
to cut
was
them?
said. There was times, yes.
Yeah.
But you had to be able to go back and because everything pretty much everything's logged. And you would have to go back and occasionally try to find what was said, why people said it, what was sent out. And that was my first introduction to reel.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
because I started in high school. So my old teacher, Jack DeMacy, I'm not even sure if he's still alive, but a wonderful guy who taught us radio and TV production. He would erase his 8-tracks to bring them in because we couldn't afford carts for commercials, so he'd erase his 8-tracks.
He erases his AC/DC. For those about to rock, we salute you. That cart so you could put some sound on tape, from whoever the Yankees were playing that night.
Sorry, Huey Lewis. None of us like you.
That's right.
We're
we
erasing
like
this.
You. We kind of like you.
We need this money.
However, we got these kids got to be able to put the sound on tape. Sir, sorry about all that. Oh, Lord. 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. Based in Jackson, Georgia. Big enough to cover whatever project you need done to the exterior of your home. Doors, windows, roofing, siding, they do it all, and their team is stellar, man. I enjoy the company of everybody down there. They're just nice folks. And the number to get them is 877-9-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co.
We've already decided that because we're going to be moving school districts, that's going to be one of our first phone calls we want to remake an exterior. And when you see their pictures online, you're like, ooh.
Dude, they do good work.
That looks nice.
They do
amazing work.
And let me tell you, we're using a contractor inside the house right now, as I've told y'all the misery stories that we've been going through.
Wait, you're still getting your bathrooms done?
Oh, yeah. We're halfway through the first one. So.
Oh, no.
We're like
dude.
months.
Dude. What are you doing?
Well, you should have called Rhino and I.
Dude,
I could have done it.
Dude, I could have called anybody. I could have called dead people.
I could have taught you how to do this in the same amount of time they've been doing this.
Yeah. And so anyway.
Bro, I need you to go in there just slinging fists.
My pain. I don't want you to experience that pain. So when you need something done to the exterior, God, I wish they did interiors. If you had something needs to be done to the exterior, call them, because I would too, like Los is. Anyway. So
what company are you using? Jim Biden's?
You would think.
Oh, my goodness.
It's bad news is what it is. It's bad news.
Look at that portfolio.
Dude, it's incredible.
I'm telling you, I sold the wife on this.
They're amazing.
One visit.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And that, but even more than that, the people that run it, Lance and Bradley and Mike and
the
Jason,
boy band.
Yeah, they are.
They're awesome.
They're like the Southern Exterior Boys.
Exactly. The Southern Exterior boy band. Like, this is how they get things done, and this is the amazing work they do.
They're great folks, and they'll do good by you. So just keep that in mind.
Like 5 stars across the board on everything. So good for them.
They show up on time. They are always there.
Got a foreman on site for your job.
Showed up early.
Not like me with my interior project where I'm chasing down anybody, wondering if they're going to be there.
Will somebody take my
Can I give you an example? Can I give you an example?
Yes, please.
No,
It's
9 o'clock hour. I like the pain of remodeling.
I just and I understand that. I just want to get it off my chest. That way I don't scream and cuss. So y'all are the beneficiaries this evening or this afternoon, this morning, whatever it is.
Sweet.
Yeah. So there was some work that needed to be done. And it was with the lighting in the bathroom. And we sat around, it was either Friday or Saturday. It was Friday. Friday night, we sat around and waited. They were supposed to be there at 8:30. You know when they showed up?
8:27.
5:27.
Whoa.
PM.
Like almost.
Whoa. 8:30 in the morning.
Later?
Yes. And they knock on the door. Like, hey, we're here to do this. I'm like, buddy, where you been? I mean, looking at my watch. I'm like, my wife and I have dinner plans now.
Did you get mad?
10 hours late.
I've seen you mad. You've gotten mad at me because I've done stupid things before, and you've gotten like really angry at me. Did you get that angry with them? Or are you being cool?
No, only because this kid had nothing to do with it. He's just a guy.
Scheduled it and sent him out.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, did they not tell you we were coming? I was like, oh, yeah, they told me you're coming.
At 8:30 this morning?
At 8:30 this morning. He was like, oh, no, I told him I would. No, I told him it would be in the late afternoon, evening. So that's the kind of things that So, yes. Bro,
I'd be blasting them all over Facebook.
My wife was so snarky with this young man.
So her New York came out a little bit?
And she apologized to me. I was like, what do you apologize to me for? She's like, kid had nothing to do with it. Oh, don't apologize. You should probably apologize to him. But I talked to him and whatever. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
Doesn't it feel oddly weird when you have to get upset at a company and then you have to say, I know it's not your fault.
Yes.
Because that's the deal. It's like I know you're catching this, and I am upset, but and I know it's not your fault.
Yes.
Yeah, I always preface it with, listen, I know this isn't your fault, but you are a representative of the company, and I'm really mad, so I'm taking it out on you. Please don't take it personally.
It's not personal.
Your entire company sucks, and you shouldn't probably have a job, and you should look for something else where you could be more reputable.
And for him,
I'm sorry, this is horrible.
I've done that same deal of I'm not trying to be a butt, but I'm going to be a butt to you right now, but I know you don't deserve this.
Please deliver the message.
Deliver the message for me, please.
Yeah, because this is just another subcontractor kid.
Oh, my God.
Great kid. He did stellar work. Everything, that he did was fantastic.
And now you have a bathroom.
Oh, no. No, he doesn't have that. No, so he's just rubbing it in now.
Yeah. You got 2 more to go, right?
Listen, look at him. He's like, looks at me. Now you're rubbing it in, bro. Like he's going to stab me.
I got 2.5 more to go.
You have 2.5 more to go. Dude, you need to fire them.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, it'd be good if you hadn't already paid them for the majority of everything. It's
you need
easy
to sue for that money back.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, yes, it is.
I'll come in there and do it.
Yeah. So, anyway.
So southernexteriors.com.
Look, he's turning red. So when we tell it, listen.
I'm hurting is what I'm doing.
Despite Tug's bad judgment in picking the bathroom, he knows exactly what he's talking about with Southern Exteriors.
Well,
I've been lucky enough to deal with those guys, and they're professionals, and those are the kind of things that you need to hear because now you know the difference.
I've seen the difference, and Lord, don't see the other side like I have.
Yeah,
just call Southern Exteriors.
That's it.
877-9 Southern. SouthernExteriors.ca.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, so do I. Perfect timing.
You know what we need outside of just whenever we bring up Kimmer's name and we have the audio we play. You don't have to do it here.
No, yeah.
But we really probably need the Crossroads from Bone Thugs and Harmony whenever we talk about his bathrooms.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be talking about him for a long time.
We
still got 6 months.
A lot of tread left on this.
Yeah, see you at the Crossroads so you won't be lonely. It's like the death of Tug's bathrooms.
Because I feel lonely right now. I feel lost and alone.
Miss my Uncle Charles, y'all.
In the wilderness.
I don't want to rub it in. Erin's on her way to finish another bathroom today.
Yeah, we had...
She's starting it today, too.
We had... Right. Yeah, I know. No, it's here's the other thing. Final thought.
Yeah.
We've had 3 couples in our friend group also remodel bathrooms. 3 of them.
Yeah, 3.
Started after we did.
Yeah, they're redoing them again now because they got use out of them.
Exactly. No, but they're all done. Every one of them. Started after we did.
Yeah.
3 bathrooms. And everybody's complete.
Ours took like 3 weeks. It was like the whole thing. Like even the flooring. All of it.
Poor Doug. I feel so bad. You got Home Depot buckets for your family out back.
Just peeing and pooping in them.
Yeah. He fills it with water so he can give himself a little shower.
I'm out there. Jacob's trying to get a shower, and I'm just holding like a flower. What are those pitchers dump out the water with? What
the water pitchers, yeah.
What are those critters?
Watering cans
that use the powder in order to clean themselves up? Because I imagine you have to do the same thing.
What is it?
Those little pets that they use like a powder that they roll around in. That's how they clean themselves.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you never see
like
one of those? Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
But
that's awesome.
I imagine you have to do the same thing. Like you just have to get that powder.
Tug just got a garden hose and running up to the outside window.
And just put your thumb on top of it so you can make the spray.
Yeah, get all the tough spot off.
Right. While you look that up, the animal that rolls around in the flour, I want to play.
Flour.
Or whatever it is.
Chinchillas.
Dry shampoo.
Chinchillas run, it's like a dry shampoo cleaner agent that they roll around
Chinchillas.
in. Yeah, and that's what you have. You can chinchilla in your lower regions.
Rolling around.
Oh, there's the bathroom. Judgment comes for you. All right, so when you hit it next time, make sure you have it right at see you at the Crossroads.
Judgment is coming to our contractor at some point. Judgment, the day of judgment is coming along.
Dust baths, self-cleaning their coats.
That's what I needed, is dust bath. Tulsi Gabbard had some fun at the Democrats' expense. She was talking about how Donald Trump is funding all of his own transition team, and he's not having to rely on the taxpayer or someone misleading him by not telling the truth. This is so good. Just about a minute long. You're going to get some enjoyment out of this.
I don't know if you've seen some of the headlines, Bobby, but over the last few days, there have been some articles written by the mainstream media talking about members, Democrats in Congress and others in the Biden administration who are expressing their grave concern about the fact that President Trump is doing something that has not been done before in what Bobby just talked about, that he has a privately funded transition team that is already getting to work. And they're like, well, how come he's not using taxpayer dollars for this and going through the Government Accountability Office? Something is very wrong here. Well, we should all have hope at how freaked out they are. Because we're not allowing Joe Biden's Government Accountability Office to control President Trump's transition team. But this is what we're talking about. They're freaking out because they can't place their moles within the transition team to try to figure out what Donald Trump is doing so that they can spin up their media propaganda machines and try to preempt and undermine the work that we are doing to bring great patriots together to actually fix the government. So the doing things different has already started, and the more you hear these people in Washington that freak out, the more you should know, like, all right, we're doing good.
Home run.
Yeah.
Is
boom.
what she just hit.
Going, gone. And that's the entire look. She's 100% right on that end. But let me tell you what else they're afraid of. They no longer have their grift. That's what it is. How do we steal taxpayer money for ridiculous things like picking the candidates that we want? How do we use taxpayer money for things that don't need to be done? Let's go with waste. And here is Donald Trump saying, I'm not going to take a salary. I'm not going to use taxpayer money for this. If these are the people I want, then we're going to pay for it through our own private industries and business. They freaked out about the Postal Service and becoming privatized. The Democrats don't want to see their money train go away.
You gave a billionaire 4 years to plan what he would do the next time around. And this is what you get. To think that he even made it a point, did Donald Trump during the campaign, I don't want any of the daily briefings. Because as a candidate, as a representative of the Republican Party going for the presidency, he was able to get daily briefings. And he didn't want it because, and his entire point was, then what they'll do is they'll leak it and they'll say that I did it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
And there's so many victories in what she said for the American people, for the success of the administration, and the fact that you brought up billionaires. Mark Anderson told Bari Weiss that he's going to be an unpaid intern for Doge. Mm-hmm. Now, you know, this dude is a billionaire, run all kinds of hedge funds. He said, we already have a plan to review government spending and regulation and to review the Impound Act, which is the act that requires a president to spend money that is allotted, whether it's needed or not, or whether it's a good idea or not. We're going to look at everything. And not only did you give a billionaire 4 years, as Los just said, and Donald Trump, you also have other billionaires dying to jump in to lend a hand.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, the days of, hey, we have all these computers. What do we do with them? Don't worry about it. Just keep them there. We already paid for them. We need that budget for next year. Don't let anybody know. They've been stealing money from us for so long, and now they're scared that the American people are taking back their government.
Goodness. The wins continue to rack up, and they will continue until America is on the right course. Will there be missteps? Will there be mistakes?
Yes.
Of course there will. But there are not going to be any unforced errors, unforced mistakes. There won't be any fumbles. There won't be any false starts.
Democrats are mad that they're not spending your taxpayers' money.
Yeah, right.
They call him, oh, he's just spoiled. He made all that money when he, got all his money. All of you have gotten richer and never owned a business. What are you talking about?
When we come back on the Morning Extra, Tug, Rhino, and Los, we've learned where the New York City shooter got his indoctrination. Next on Xtra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
These phrases, I believe, are designed and became part of the American lexicon in an effort to dampen down the idea of merit or accomplishment. One of them is the less fortunate. It's applied to our homeless people, vagrants, whatever, and it creates the impression that these people, the homeless, the drug addicts, they just weren't lucky. It has nothing to do with merit. It has nothing to do with character or principle. It's all about luck. If you can pay your rent, make your car payments, feed your children, you're just lucky. If you can't, well, you're just less lucky. The less fortunate.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Xtra 106.3 app.
All right, now's the time to give the gift that, well, people aren't going to be upset about. A gift that people can actually use, and that might actually save them or some of your family's lives, and that's True Prep in Marietta, the gift of preparedness. Make sure that you're starting to think about the people in your life that you actually care about, and right now, since December 13th, True Prep is running an amazing weekly sale. Every week, they got new stuff on sale. Now is the time to get a $50 gift card, because with every gift card, you get a $5 added bonus, and you can find all that information out on their website, trueprep.com. But let me tell you a little bit more about the things that you can find there, like freeze-dried food, already prepackaged, ready to go. Maybe you want to buy an entire bucket for a family member or someone you love, or just for yourself and your family to keep them safe during the holiday season. What's a better gift than that? The gift of being able to survive. What about water filtration, first aid kits, firearms, firearm accessories, ammo? The one great part about True Prep is that they're locally owned and operated. The other, that they care about pricing and want to make sure they're going to get you the lowest price around. You got to go check out True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway. As for Matt, Amy, Joey, any of the experts there can walk you through, and if you're new to it, they even have workshops online that you can sign a family member up for during the holiday season. Go to their website, trueprep.com. That's TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free Christmas with True Prep.
There's nothing like being there in person for the holidays. And RBM of Atlanta Mercedes-Benz wants to get you there safely, in comfort and style. Come in now during the Holiday Love Celebration for great offers on the Mercedes-Benz vehicles you've always wanted. Get an exceptional offer on the 2024 Mercedes-Benz C300 sedan. Just $479 per month for 36 months with $4173 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration sales event. Visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through January 2nd, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
At Nelson Elder Care Law, we understand that family is everything. That's why we prioritize your family's future with personalized asset protection solutions. Call us today to schedule your legacy planning meeting and discover how our team can tailor our services to meet your family's unique needs, ensuring a secure and worry-free future. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Years ago, when I first started to feel pain in my hands and my joints, I did what most people did. I masked them, to feel better for a few hours, only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again. Not until about a decade later did I understand that there's a better way. It's called Relief Factor. The good news is, for you, that you don't have to mask your pain anymore. Relief Factor makes it easy to get rid of the pain completely and naturally. Now, they have a 3-week quick start. It's $19.95 for less than $1 a day. Instead of masking the pain, try Relief Factor. Well, it's a unique formula of ingredients that helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors, and it's 100% drug-free. And right now, their 3-week quick start is $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com. Call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask the pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, December 17th. Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt has agreed to pay $43,000 in penalties for violating campaign finance laws. The State Ethics Committee says that Sheriff Labatt failed to identify all the businesses his wife owned and committed other campaign finance violations. Labatt reportedly failed to disclose $149,000 in expenditures to Alliance Business Management Group, a company organized by his wife, as well as $72,000 of Zelle transfers to his wife from his campaign account. Additionally, he did not disclose his wife's ownership interests in business entities or his position as an officer in the nonprofit Think Twice, Save a Life. The sheriff blamed the violations on not having a professional campaign staff, treasurer, or legal counsel, describing the mistakes as unintentional. The Atlanta Police Department is seeking the public's help in identifying a person of interest in the stabbing death of a 54-year-old man near Trinity Avenue in Atlanta. Police say the attack was unprovoked and occurred while the victim was sleeping. Surveillance video released by authorities show the male suspect walking in the area around the time of the stabbing. Police urge anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons ended their losing streak with a lackluster 15-9 win over the Las Vegas Raiders last night. Kirk Cousins threw for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception in the win. Jesse Bates III intercepted former Falcons QB Desmond Ridder in the end zone to secure the game. The Falcons are now 7-7 on the season and in second place behind the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Extra 106.3.
9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. Exteriors, doors, windows, gutters, roofs. If you need a back deck, they can build. If you need to screen in your back deck, they can do that too. SouthernExteriors.co is their website. 8779-SOUTHERN is their phone number. So we figured out what it was that indoctrinated, or at least I feel like I've figured out what indoctrinated the shooter in New York, Luigi Mangione. At UPenn, where he went, and you probably won't be surprised by this, there was a professor there who calls Luigi an icon. This woman is a self-described socialist. Her name is Julia Avexskaya.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but I don't care. There's not like a whole lot of respect I have for this person. But anyway, she's since deleted these posts, and the caption said, he have never been prouder to be a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Damn.
Yeah.
This was right after the shooting happened.
Was the day of finding out where he was and who he was. That's how quick that came out. Why did she hide it? This is a question
Why she deleted it if you're so bold on it?
Yeah, if you feel so empowered to talk about killing someone who had nothing to do with this man's life, never denied a claim for this man or you or anyone else that's associated, why do you think it's okay to have that kind of comment? Or why do you think it's okay to delete it? You're so strong in your passion.
And these people are the same people that are getting tattoos. Have you seen the tattoos that people are getting shared on social media of this of Luigi's face?
Good. Go ahead.
I mean, giant shoulder.
Yeah.
Across the back, even in some of them, on legs and thighs, and the picture of the shooter, and then the messages that he wrote on the casings of the rounds that he fired. I mean, of all things. Even if you believe it, even if you are tried and true and you believe it, you're washed in the blood. I don't know that I would put that on my body. Because at some point, when you realize how stupid you are for doing it, then you get to be the display, because those pictures are never going away off the internet.
Well, you don't have an anarchist mentality.
Yeah.
That's true,
fine.
Los. That is right.
You would sooner put the cross on your body, and they're just as fervent in their belief.
Right, because it's religion to them. No, that's right.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. But
then why back away from it?
Right. Why you?
Then why back away from it? If you're so strong in your convictions and you believe that, then why back away? Why are you such a wimp? Why are you such a loser? Because that's what the Democrats that back this kind of hatred and this violence are. They're losers. They're scumbags, and they're the lowest of low. That I don't care what your religion is. The same way I believe about Satanists. I think you're disgusting and losers. That's my personal thought. Sorry.
It's just not that. I don't know if there's a situation. Because I talk about how there's only two things like I really hate in this world: hate cancer or hate terrorists. Like those are the two. I'm like, using the word hate, I feel is justified constantly.
Yeah.
Hate cancer, hate terrorism. So when a terrorist dies or a cancer's defeated, I'm like, Hooray.
Let's
Awesome.
go.
Here we go. I don't understand how you do that with the CEO of whatever healthcare company or CEOs in general.
Yeah.
Like, how have you decided that they're the epitome and on par with terrorism or cancer?
See if I can find it. I flagged a message knowing that we might talk about this at some point, and it'll probably take me a minute to get to, but I'll just paraphrase what it said, and it was a woman. And she said, I don't care that he was a father. I don't care that he was a husband. I don't care that he might have given back to his community or might not have. Those are the words that were said in this tweet talking about Brian Thompson.
I'd question your level of humanity.
Yeah.
And a lack thereof.
They're proud of that. They want you to question. They want you to be. Yeah. I mean, that's almost like you saying that is them going, yep, that's exactly right.
In a way, because it makes you easier to kill and it makes it more digestible for society, it's easier for me to say this person's a terrorist and they support a terrorist network and they employ people to walk into markets and blow themselves up. And that's where it's easy for us to kill bin Laden. Like how excited we all were that night. Like that was us celebrating something. How, when it comes to the excitement over a death, would you apply that same sort of mentality that I applied with Osama bin Laden, who was responsible for killing more than 3,000 Americans and starting us into 2 wars that we were involved in? How do you use that same sort of energy for a United Healthcare CEO?
Lost soul.
You have to be. And I'm saying, I understand we're talking about the same thing, but I feel justified.
As you should, because Osama bin Laden...
Like true evil.
Yeah. That is, when I saw that man, I saw the face of the devil. There is one picture, and I don't know if y'all have seen it. Maybe you'll know the one I'm talking about. There's just one picture of him. If I dig it up, when I see it, it gives me the most unnerving feeling that I've ever seen or felt in my whole life. Because when I look at that one picture of Osama bin Laden, I would put my hand on the good book and say, that must be what Satan looks like.
Yeah. I mean, tell me what he did wrong, except for run a company and do what he was supposed to do. He came in to work with the government on trying to help Medicare and Medicaid and make sure that those millions and millions of individuals were covered through United Healthcare to make sure that they had a good coverage program. That's what he did. Are you upset about that, liberals? Or did you not really look into this? You're just celebrating because, once again, the Biden administration and the Democrats have made you not really understand right from wrong. So now you think this is okay. This man had a family. He grew from nothing. He had nothing. And now, you're mad that he made money? How disgusting are these people, man?
I'll show you, Rhino. This is the picture that I feel like. If I had to know what the devil himself looked like.
That's him.
That's the picture that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I mean, I don't like the insurance industry. Like I've battled with them.
Yeah,
I'm forced to buy their product, and then the game is to pay me as little as possible or nothing when I put in a claim. That's the game. In fact, I had the same insurance company for 20 years. And we ended up having to put in 2 claims in the span of 2 years. They dropped us out of nowhere. And now the fun part is they call like every 3 months. Hey, I want to get you back with us. And I always say the same thing. After 20 years, you dropped us. We went and found somebody else. That's just how it is. Just don't call me anymore. So I'm no lover of the insurance industry. But I also don't look at the CEO. And even though, yes, he's responsible for the bottom line and the direction of the company, I'm not saying you deserve to die because of it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy, too, who I know that people don't understand the information that they've been given because, well, they're just sick. But this is a guy who talked about value-based coverage, talking about how doctors should be treating you to get healthy, not treating you to keep you sick. This is a guy who thought differently about the healthcare insurance, and the way it was working. That's why he worked with Medicare and Medicaid to make sure people were actually getting, better. Not kept sick by giving them more and more drugs and doing all of that. They've made this into something, instead of celebrating this man's life and talking about the accomplishments he did make and trying to bridge that gap and making people understand insurance better and the insurance companies to work for those people. This man got it wrong and came out there for no reason, not covered by them, never denied by Brian Thompson, and in cold blood killed the man. and they think it's okay for a professor, she should lose her job, her tenure, everything that had to do with her position at UPenn. But, of course, they hid classified documents for Biden, so that'll never happen.
Yeah, it's never going to happen, ever. Because I bet the majority of the people at the staff believe the same thing she believes. I'm certainly not saying every person at UPenn believes that, but I bet there is a majority that does.
What I have a hard time grasping is how there's a level of disconnect, that these people look at themselves as revolutionaries and they're for the revolution. That's part of communism, and that's the mentality they take on. Yet the Democrat Party is essentially now run by Wall Street and corporate America. All the big money, that's where it's coming from. It's not small donations. It's not the common man. And yet they look at themselves as the revolutionary anarchists. We're going to be able to separate. We're going to get away from all this stuff. And like, well, who do you think funds and runs your party?
Right. Yeah. Well, that was the one thing from the Rolling Stone article. Was that earlier that we talked last hour we talked about? That was the only thing the guy got right, was that we're not the party of the common man. We
not anymore.
That's right. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. Trump did something, y'all, that you had to appreciate. The fact, Los, that he had a warning for Hamas, and it was in no uncertain terms.
1 hour that he was up on stage, took questions from the media, and just gave his responses. Again, something that you never saw Joe Biden capable of doing, where you can just speak extemporaneously, you can speak on the fly. And I believe that when you're the president of the United States, you not only have to be visible, but you have to be accessible. You have to explain what is going on. And I know you got a press secretary for it, but when the president speaks, something everybody around the world pays attention to it. Once you take a listen, this has 1980 vibes all over it. And when I make that point, it's because when Ronald Reagan was coming into the White House, he made it clear with Iran, you turn loose our hostages or we're going to start bombing day one. And that is how you end up getting all of the hostages out of Iran that were taken over during the storming of the embassy. Take a listen to what he's telling Hamas about their hostages.
Well, I'm not going to comment on the Putin question, but I will comment on Bibi. We had a very good talk. We discussed what is going to happen, and I'll be very available on January 20th, and we'll see. As you know, I gave warning that if these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out, and very strong.
Love it. Dude, there's nothing
threaten
more
violence to these people. That's all they understand.
They all understand. Yep. And we have been the sleeping giant for so long, for exactly 4 years. Exactly 4 years now. And it's been taken advantage of. And now the giant has awoken. And what happens when the giant is woken up? All hell breaks loose, and things all of a sudden start going better than they were before. People get the message real quick.
It's not a problem to have people be afraid of you.
No, it's actually encouraged. That's exactly what you want. Peace through strength.
Peace is always secured through the threat of violence.
Yeah, always.
Always. And that'll never change. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. CNN has again shown you and the world that they're not to be trusted about anything. Next on the Morning Extra as we wrap up the show here until 10.
There were dozens of confidential human sources undercover in the crowd on January 6th, mostly peaceful Ashley Babbitt Day.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Dio and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, I appreciate you, little fella, and we're going to get you some help. We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Learn more online at tvtofga.com.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlantis Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth, or they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there, napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans automatic 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. Atlantis Smiles, 404-262-7733. It's atlantismiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantismiles.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantismiles.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Holiday shopping has arrived. Still looking for the perfect gift for that special someone? How about a Natural Body gift card for a little pampering? Help the ones you love unwind and relieve stress this holiday season. Give the gift of a custom massage, facial, or body treatments. Pick up a gift card in store or online at naturalbody.com and give the gift of relaxation and rejuvenation. Natural Body Spa and Skin Remedy with locations in Atlanta, Alpharetta, Buckhead, Decatur, Marietta, Morningside, Smyrna, Snellville, and Chattanooga. Or shop online at naturalbody.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
We're sharing more love than ever before during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. By the end of this year, Subaru and its retailers like Jennifer and the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett will have donated nearly $320 million to charities like the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels America, and the National Park Foundation. It's the reason why we say Subaru of Gwinnett is more than a car dealer. We always go the extra mile for our community. And during the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event, you can drive away in the Subaru model you've had your eye on all year. But now through January 2nd is the only time you can get a new Subaru, and Subaru of Gwinnett will donate $250 to a charitable cause of your choosing. It's just one way that we share the love this holiday season. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com for details and start shopping for the Subaru that your family will love for years to come. Then come by and see us for a test drive and meet our staff. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Subaru of Gwinnett, Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, and online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
I'm not 100% positive there is anything that CNN does not lie about. For years now, Trump's a dictator. Biden, just fine. Everything's good. Nothing to see here. Cheap fakes. And Russia collusion, that was real. They said all of those things. Now they've been shown to be lying again. This time around, it was freeing a prisoner in Syria. A man who was supposed to be in the hellhole, the torturous prison that the Syrian government, the Assad government, had him in. Yet most people found it pretty interesting that this prisoner that CNN freed, quote unquote, was part of freeing, had clean clothes on. His hands were clean. That should have been the first giveaway that it was fake. Now we learned the freed prisoner was actually Salama, I hope I'm saying that right, Salama Muhammad Salama, if that is correct. And if I've mispronounced it, please, I beg your pardon. The first lieutenant in the Syrian Air Force for their intel, who has a long history of alleged war crimes. Now, let's set the scene. CNN goes into this prison cell. It's CNN's Cassandra Ward. She said it was the most extraordinary moment of her career. Now, it's definitely a moment she'll never forget because it's the most embarrassing. Here's how it came down.
Clear if there was something under the blanket.
Oh, it moved. Is there someone there? I thought I saw it move. Is someone there? Or is it just a blanket? I don't know.
Hello? Oh.
Okay, so it kind of sets the scene. Hello? Is there someone there? Or is that just a blanket laying on the ground?
So
Hang on.
fake.
It's the fakest crap you've ever seen in your whole life. How many times have you ever walked into a room and saw a blanket laying down and wondered if someone was under it? It's always clear if someone is under the blanket.
The video of a man who was apparently in the dark for how long now?
Days and days.
Days and
months
days and days.
months, whatever.
And all of a sudden, this sunlight, and he doesn't even blink.
Nothing.
Nothing. Zero.
His clothes are clean.
Yeah. Hey,
His
what's
hands,
up, dude?
Fingernails been
Thanks for
nicely
coming.
manicured.
This is still the same reporter that when you look at some of the war correspondent video when she was laying on the ground pretending they were under fire. It's like, listen, you're doing this for entertainment purposes. But now it's actually kind of backfiring on you because it only took about 48 hours for people to go, wow, this is totally fake. And oh, by the way, this wasn't some, political prisoner that was in need of safety and you helped him. You saved him.
Salama Mohammed Salama, a first lieutenant in the Syrian Air Force Intel. That's who they supposedly rescued. A man that clearly did not need rescuing. For him, it was probably like, hey, play this gag. These people are you're not going to have to try to run and escape. They're going to take you out. They're going to take you out like a hostage, and then you can go move on. Because as I said, he has a long history of alleged war crimes. So, again, CNN trying to fabricate another story, trying to make some sort of name for themselves that is not embarrassing, and yet they did the exact opposite. They embarrassed themselves on a world stage again. I can't tell you how happy that I am that CNN Center is no longer in downtown Atlanta. It is no longer a place that people go and snap pictures and post to social media in front of the big logo.
Used to be cool.
At some point, it
used to be the nerve center of information that ran through Atlanta. We have to go back to the Gulf War, the original Gulf War, where no one was better at delivering the news to the American population than CNN.
They had that Hummer sitting in there, the one that from the Gulf War.
From the Gulf War.
Absolutely, because it was a symbol of what they had
coverage.
done. Absolutely, and celebrated coverage, and for all I know, good coverage. I remember watching it. I was younger.
Yeah, here's what's going on. I mean, do you remember what it was like to turn on CNN and to see the Scud missiles coming in
100%
to Israel and also into Kuwait and their coverage of all of that information?
And their coverage was, this is what's happening. And here, you can see it. This is what we have. Not, hey, this guy's bad. Bush is obviously it wasn't that political at that point. That was left for like the ABCs and the local and those kind of things. It wasn't a CNN thing. They gave you the facts and that was it. They got way away from that.
CNN took you for the first time in world history. They took you live into a war zone.
Yeah.
That was different. You used to have news reels.
Yeah.
You used to have footage. You would have nightly news where here's what's going on in this war. Live, they showed you what was going on in a war zone.
Yeah.
And that's what they were built on.
It was amazing.
And now
I sat and watched that all day.
I
all
think
day
we
and all
did.
night.
Everybody did.
Got back from school. I was like, turn it on.
Immediately. And you said something, Lois. You said CNN, that logo was a symbol of information. I think it was you. Maybe it was Rhino. So somebody just said that a moment ago. And as you said it, I wrote down, now it is a symbol of misinformation.
It sure is.
Because that's all it is. When you look at that CNN logo, you're just like,
Well, you know what it is? It's become an entertainment source. That's it. That's what they think they are. They think they're CNN entertainment, not actual news anymore.
But that's all of cable news.
All of it.
Here's the trough. And the problem is and this was largely what has gone on in the era of Donald Trump since 2016. When their ratings were good, it was because they were the opponents of Donald Trump. MSNBC had the same thing. When the country then turned and Donald Trump was out of office in 2020, their numbers tanked. They tried to ramp things back up, centered on Donald Trump, but the feeling toward Donald Trump, and I swear this is because what happened in that field in Pennsylvania, is completely changed around the country.
Absolutely.
He is looked at as like, this guy is the American icon that we want leading this thing. The mentality is different. The resistance, where are they? They're not there. It's not generating the ratings that it did back in 2016.
And then we had the numbers, Rhino, earlier that how many Americans, the majority of Americans, support Trump and what he wants to do and accomplish for America.
It's that easy.
Across party lines.
It became a thing where with Donald Trump that people were like, hold on one second. This man has been not only attacked in the media, but now they're shooting at him, not once, but twice. He actually became more and more likable as they attacked him more and more and more. And he became more relatable to the American people that have been attacked by the government or whatever they think. And it is, some of it is their truth, but I've seen it. I've been attacked by the government over stupid things and just saying, hold on one second. I understand that most people act this way, but you're treating me like I'm them. Like, calm down. So I think a lot of people understand what he was going through when it came to dealing with Joe Biden, especially when you go, we don't tolerate violent rhetoric. We'll put a bullseye on that guy's face. Like,
He's
hold on one
dictator.
second, dude.
He's
You just said
Hitler.
that, and you're the ones calling for violence every single time. CNN, they didn't address it and say, hey, let's look at both sides of this. They just kind of aligned with them, and that's why they had to get rid of Brian Stetler and all those other. I mean, is Anderson Cooper even still there anymore?
He is.
For how long?
Yeah,
Is he
well,
leaving?
that's
Chris Wallace gone?
Yep.
Good riddance to Chris Wallace, by the way. Guy who,
yeah,
whatever, traitor.
It's just another example. Not that you need another example of why you don't listen to mainstream media. I feel like we've documented that pretty well for you. And not that you needed us to, because you saw it too. That's the reason America voted the way they did. They didn't need that documentation.
Number one app in the world is X. Number one news source in the world is X. Mainstream media, nearly dead.
I like Fox News, but I don't even pay attention to them for any kind of information without going and saying, let me see what they're talking about, then let me go investigate it.
Every once in a while, I'll flip on the 5. I enjoy the 5.
Yeah, it's funny.
Once in a while.
It's opinion.
I watched them during a debate. I haven't. I've watched Fox News. If we were just to take the debates, I think I've watched maybe 4 hours of coverage in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
I just don't watch it.
Yeah, I don't either much. But like I said, once in a while, I'll flip on the 5 just because I'm not up late enough to see Gutfeld, and Gutfeld always brings something good.
I would watch if I could stay up that late.
Dude,
for sure.
If there was a show that I think I might watch, it would be Gutfeld. And I know you can record it and watch it the next day, but
or if they did like a Cat Timph happy hour, I'd be right there too. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Yeah, I like old Gutfeld pretty well. I think he's a funny dude and he's a smart dude. Oh, anyway, that'll do it for us. Thank you for being here. We owe you a debt of gratitude. We're glad that you're here. Glad that you feel strongly about the same things that we do, sharing our values. Remember, the advertisers during the morning show and the afternoon show with the Kimmer, they share your values too. So support those guys. When you need a good or service that they advertise, please give them the first opportunity to earn your business.
Or if you get hungry, get a sandwich.
Yeah, that. Yeah, over at Nucky's.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. All right. So for Rhino and Los, Goey Virgin River, the captain, my name is Doug. Y'all come back now, you hear? The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 1.